Yo, Adam Green here with No More News. Thank you all for joining me today, Tuesday, February 24th, 2026. Going to pick up where we left off yesterday. Candace released a new video attacking Charlie Kirk's widow, Erika Kirk. We're going to get into all of that news. We're going to go through the Tucker versus Ambassador Huckabee debate, some of those clips. We've got a bunch of other clips as well, some Tucker alien Psyop stuff. Just talking yesterday about how it ties in with Merkava mysticism and Ezekiel's chariot, and there they are, all explaining it just like that. Powerchat.live/no more news, getting that turned on right now at the start. We hit the goal yesterday. Let's hit it again today. Get this week off to a good start. First, though, little updates on the Iran war and something interesting that Big Tech, I'm going to be doing a stream with Big Tech soon, told me about. Okay, first, just in, Trump says reports that the Pentagon is warning him against attacking Iran are 100% incorrect. Trump says it will be something easily won. Trump tweets yesterday, or Truth Socials. Numerous stories from the fake news media have been circulating stating that Kane, sometimes referred to as Razin, is going in blah, 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 blah. If a decision is made on going against Iran at a military level, it is his opinion that it will be something easily won. And now we got Ted Cruz saying it looks like there's going to be strikes in the upcoming days. Let's see this. Oh, we're on mute.
We're at a moment, Joe, where in the next 6 months we could realistically see the regimes in Iran, Venezuela, and Cuba all fall, and we could see them replaced with governments.
Cuba just met in Moscow with Putin.
That want to be friends with America. Now, let me be clear. There are 1,000 ways that can go wrong, so I'm not being Pollyannish about that. But if that happened, that would be the biggest geopolitical shift since the fall of the Berlin Wall. And so tonight, I expect the president to talk about historic successes over this last year, because it really has been an extraordinary year, both in national security and foreign policy, but also in domestic policy.
How would you, if you were the president, how would you approach Iran? What is it, another limited strike to try to prevent nuclear enrichment and to say we're serious? Do you go beyond that? Do you hope that somehow organically it happens? Because when you break it, when you own it and you break it, we know what's happened in the past. It's not.
So I talked to the president last week about this, and what I urged the president, I said, listen, the regime has never been weaker. They are teetering. There are real-world consequences to losing a war. The Ayatollah lost to Israel in the 12-day war. They are weaker. The regime is weaker than
to Israel. We bombed them.
President, do not miss this opportunity. If the Ayatollah is removed from power, it will make America much safer. This is the leading state sponsor of terrorism in the world.
Yeah, it's all about making America safer. Iran's really a threat to American soil. He's tried to frame this as all America when it's clearly Israel. So sneaky.
The Iranian regime is responsible for murdering hundreds of American servicemen and women. They fund terrorists all over the world. And so what I've urged the president is, number one, support the protesters and arm the protesters. Let the people of Iran, give them the ability to overthrow their government. And number two, I think there's a very real possibility we will see, potentially in a matter of days, limited strikes. What we're not going to see is boots on the ground. We're not going to see a ground presence of American troops there, but I think there's a real possibility of targeted strikes that are designed to support the Iranian people who are protesting, not designed to put America in the middle of it, but designed. This regime, the Ayatollah, when he chants death to America, I believe him.
I believe it. Oh, what a mic drop. What a mic drop. And this is what Big Tech showed me. I think he said he stumbled upon this on a stream. Will the strike on Iran happen on the 28th of this month? Why is the volume so high on Polymarket? So look at the Polymarket. So the volume for the 26th is 1.9 million volume, and then 1.6 on the 27th, and then 38 times more volume, 38 million on February 28th. And then I think the days after, it went back down to these levels. What is going on? Why is there so much more volume and betting and odds that it's going to be this day? Well, what is that day on the Jewish calendar? It is the Zachor, the Zachor, I don't know how to say it, on the Sabbath before Purim, which is going to be the 28th. They celebrate the foiling of Haman, the Amalekites' plot to destroy the Jewish people in Persia. So the Amalek in Persia that wanted to genocide them, that's the day that they celebrate that they're destroyed. Is this a bunch of Jews investing on this day because they think they're planning the attack around their Purim holiday? Is that what's going on? Is there some Kabbalistic insider trading going on here that big tech stumbled upon? That is, they're commanded to remember the evil of Amalek and to eradicate it from the face of the earth. Pretty good explanation to me. What do you guys think? We'll see on the 28th. Might be a smart investment. I saw this too. I don't know if this is legit, but somebody sent me this also. Purim in 2026 starts March 2nd. Yeah, but the 28th is the Sabbath before that. That's what the holiday is. So also on the 28th, according to this Facebook meme that I have not fact-checked, every planet in our solar system will gather in the sky for a rare parade that won't happen again until 2040. On cosmic alignment on the 28th also, oy vey. Hold on, can we do a fact check on that? Real-time fact check. Like Amalek's awesome serial sacrifice fact check yesterday. Are planets aligned on February 28th, 2026? Oops, I butchered aligned. All right. Let's see what it says. Planet alignment. Yes, several planets, but it's a loose, not a rare, perfect one. Okay. Late February, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn will all appear along the same general arc of the sky. Planet parade. Well, that is on the 28th. Okay, fact check true. We'll take it. Judges say we'll accept. I think so. So, wow. Imagine how crazy that's going to be if it really does happen on the 28th, on the holiday. That will be Twilight Zone. Saw this yesterday, another common Tradcat L. The Pope warns Spain's top bishops in a private meeting that the biggest threat in Spain is the rise of far-right ideology seeking to instrumentalize the church for political gain. Pope warned the bishops that his biggest concern is the far right. State of Christianity, Deus Vult. Okay. Now here is Candace's new video, 32,000 likes, released yesterday, targeting Erika Kirk, the widow of the assassinated Charlie Kirk, the mother of his children. I haven't watched it yet. You know I like to save my reactions for the live stream. So let's check it. But already I'm disgusted. Candace is a kook. She's an idiot. She gets everything wrong. She's not smart. She can't pronounce like tons of common words. She's been wrong about everything. And what's really annoying is all the people that are even dumber than her that follow her, and then the people that enable her and simp for her and stand for her.
President Trump says that Kirk has died after he was shot from a nearby building.
After being shot at Utah Valley University.
The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead.
The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry.
I didn't even get to give him a kiss goodbye.
That young man, I forgive him.
This is sick.
Take your time.
The music. Trump, it just got announced today that Trump is going to She's the guest of Trump at the State of the Union. They're probably going to put the camera on her, and he's going to say something about the radical leftist murderous ideology, and then point to her, and she's going to stand up, and they're all going to clap.
Erika Kirk has been named the new CEO of Turning Point USA.
My husband's dead. Like, I'm not trying to be morbid, but he's dead. It's weird to say excited.
Describes her husband's funeral as the event of the century. Merch, hats.
We have 50,000 plus.
Yeah, having a huge memorial and ceremony and funeral for somebody is something to be proud of and happy about. It's like the biggest funeral, like, in my lifetime, the biggest death. Come on. And the context also. They always have the dumbest things that they try to twist and spin into some scandal. She was happy that he had a huge memorial. Oh my gosh, how dare her. How dare her be happy about everybody mourning for Charlie together. How much of an impact he made on the world. How prolific he was. He turns it into, she's happy he dead because he had a good funeral. Or they'll be like, oh, there's sparklers. It was fancy. It's like, that's the way TPUSA does it. That's their equipment. That's their production staff.
As the event of the century.
Yeah, Michael Jackson's was bigger.
We have 50,000 plus hat orders.
Nobody knows why she's out there in a glittering pants.
She's already a multimillionaire. Her company is worth, like, brings in like hundreds of millions. You think she's happy about hat sales? Bragging about the Christian revival and how now her husband's a martyr and everybody's wants to support and fight against the left. They're turning this into scandal. It's stupid. This is so weak and flimsy and just bullshit.
Merch.
This kook
plus hat
used to be on InfoWars all the time.
She's out there in a glittering pantsuit in a recreated tent that her husband tragically was murdered in, throwing merch out.
They always throw merch out.
Acting weird. Don't read into that.
Zionists, the Prime Minister of Israel, all lied through their teeth about Charlie Kirk.
Her operation was in Constanta.
So pro-Russia shill. Lionel is a big Putin shill. The guy we showed earlier.
Of Romania's trafficking scandal.
Weird conversation.
Dugan's been shilling Candace hard, kooky Candace and Tucker.
To have with a 15-year-old. I'm going to touch your butt.
$8.6 million to their own shell company.
So she's got some cringe old messages to one of her friends. So she killed her husband. Dude, I hope Erika sues her and puts her on the street homeless. That's what she deserves for this.
What is going on?
And everybody keeps saying, oh, she's not suing. She's scared. It must be right. My prediction is she is going to sue. My prediction is that this is going to all age very badly for Candace and everybody else that promoted it. That's just me.
We have nothing to hide. My aunt used to tell me, never do something that you don't want on the front page of a newspaper.
Okay. So just completely out of context, the bride of Charlie. That looks like shit. That looks like there's absolutely no substance there. Groomed an underage girl. Okay, come on. What does that have to do with killing Charlie, by the way? I haven't even seen the stupid bullshit. It's like they're just trying to go look and nitpick any little thing they can to try to like cast aspersions. Look at Alex is even against it. Where are the updated Egyptian plane files? You promised to release the proof. How is Mitch Snow doing? Like, she's already been wrong on so much stuff and just making a fool of herself. And she's just, besides these conspiracy kooks online, she's widely hated now. She's like the laughing stock. A new low. Disgusting. Look, Lionel says, thanks, Ubersoy. Hope you're getting sued. Can't wait. RT promoting it, of course. 1 million views from RT boosting it. Always noticing that. Always noticing that. Here's Lionel, the guy that was featured in the video. Dude, I'm telling you, you go to this guy's page and do a Putin search. Just straight. I remember him being on Alex Jones all the time. Just straight Putin simping so hard. It's like every time Sharon McGregor, Putin is absolutely correct, but we knew that. Just they always happen to just glaze Putin, love Putin so much. Can't help but notice. Everything. Guy's a total quack. Let's see this. Some of these clips. The flip-flop of Candace on Erika. And remember, she already met with Erika in person. And she was like, at one point, she was like, I'll only stop if Erika says stop. And she said stop. And then she said no. And then now she's doing this. I think it's so sick and cruel. She must really just be spited. She probably loved Charlie and wanted to marry Charlie. And then Charlie went for the blonde instead, for the beauty pageant blonde instead of Candace, so she was seething. And then she immediately married her beard husband, and then just was plotting and waiting, and now she's just trying to bring it all down and destroy Erika. That's what it seems like. Let's see this.
If there was anything that could rile Charlie up, it's questioning his moral integrity. Yeah, they are very, very good people. Charlie and Erika are fantastic people. But I know that Charlie was very happy with Erika. She made him happy. And I just want you guys to know that. And so when you're putting stuff out there, just imagine that you're in her shoes. Imagine the size and the scale of that company. And imagine that on top of everything, you've got people that are digging into every layer of your life.
Dude, she probably worshipped her husband. Her husband is multimillionaire. He's celebrity status. He's like a top contender to be president one day. And you think she could have been first lady, and you think that she planned or wanted or is happy that he was murdered, the father of her children. Do you guys know how sick that is to cast those aspersions on her, to make those allegations? It's disgusting. It's schizophrenic and disgusting. And we'll see how none of this goes anywhere. It's just going to age badly. There hasn't even been a trial yet. They haven't even gone to trial for the guy that actually shot him. Hasn't even been a trial, and she's already, day one, they were like, it's Israel, and then they're blaming TPUSA.
And not necessarily getting everything right. This is a woman who consulted a priest and prayed when she felt that somebody had put a hex on her husband. And I just think everyone is being a little unfair by trying to assign so much ill will towards someone who hasn't done anything to warrant that. And I just really just feels to me like it's unfair. She has not come out and said anything to me that makes her suspicious. I would have been the first person if I felt that anything was there. What lie has Erika told that I'm supposed to be focused on? I haven't seen any reason to do that. I said early on, if Erika Kirk asks me to be quiet, I will be quiet.
And making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single.
Yeah, you want to talk about do a video. She did the trailer like, oh, she's happy about that she sold a bit crazy amount of hats, or that what else did she say? She was bragging about how huge the memorial was, right? Well, she was bragging that her podcast became #1 when she was talking about all this. She shills commercials.
$10, Jimmy Dore and Kirk Metzger are peddling the ball, and they were not the real Jews on yesterday's podcast.
Of course they were.
And also Jimmy Dore makes comments that are critical of the show.
Yeah, those guys glow in my opinion, if you want to know the truth.
Optics Prime sent $5 on Rumble. Purim in 2026 starts March 2nd. That would be my bet.
Yeah, you look at it just coincidentally, the same usual suspects. You look at all the people that are boosting Candace the most. It's like I just showed you RT, and I've been showing this all along the way. By the way, all the RT boosting of this. So RT's been supporting it. Dugan's been supporting Candace. You got guys like Stu Peters. You got Owen Benjamin. You got Lionel. You got Jimmy Dore. Like. Coincidentally, all of the people already suspected as being Dugan Russia shills. Who else am I forgetting?
Episode. Going after the people that I love. No, stop. To stop.
This is why
Jackson Hinkle?
Who do not believe that women are equipped to lead companies.
Stop. That's it.
See, she loved it. Oh, her faces. She's so revolting. I hate everything about her. I hate. She's so unattractive. Her personality was what makes her just revolting to me. Her faces, the way she talks.
We are doing a couple of episodes to separate fact from fiction when it comes to the background.
There's got to be something seriously wrong to you to find her appealing. To think she's smart and find listening to her appealing. Yeah, she's a jealous bitch. Probably.
Of Erika Kirk.
Jack Stone says, I hate Candace so much too. Yeah. Candace.
Something is not right.
And she's doing the Frankist, and they're pagan gypsies and Khazarians and all the known disinfo lines.
She has been orchestrating this entire PR campaign. I've seen enough. Erika Kirk should be dragged into a police precinct for questioning. Amount of evidence that is now piling up, I would say, against Erika Kirk, allowing Ben Shapiro to open at AmFest behind her. Like I said, that was my clue something was wrong. Basically, Erika here is pulling the LBJ, and what I mean by that...
Dude, that's a clue something's wrong? Ben Shapiro was invited on like one of the first people on his show. Ben Shapiro and Charlie had been collaborating for years, closely.
That is, as soon as LBJ got into office after JFK's assassination, he reversed course on every single one of JFK's policies. JFK's enemies seemingly became LBJ's friends. Erika appears to be doing that to me. Strongly, I know for a fact, Charlie disliked Ben. Erika appears to be doing that to me.
All right. This was her most recent proof. I mean, we already saw the trailer. She said, "Oh, she sold 50,000 hats. Oh, she killed him. Then that's your proof. That's the best. You want to show the best stuff in the trailer, and that's what she showed." Now watch. This was her other investigation. She says the proof that Erika killed her husband was that one of their toddlers woke up in the middle of the night.
I just would like to ask why. She then says that Charlie woke up for a snack at 2:45 in the morning. And apparently he was so loud, the apartment's small, and maybe it was his excitement. He's like, yeah, you, yeah, I'm so excited. Who knows?
I hate her.
Okay, we're not clear on that. But the implication is that's what woke up her 3-year-old daughter at 2:45 in the morning. That's not when toddlers at the age of 3 wake up, okay? These are sleep-trained toddlers, okay?
What? Toddlers don't wake up in the night. Everybody knows that. Toddlers are sleep trained and they don't wake up in the night, okay? All right, Detective Owens. Remember early on, too? I'm like, she thinks she's like Sherlock Holmes. And we did the AI of her like Sherlock Holmes, and then she wore the exact hat, LARPing as a detective.
Toddlers, okay? Gigi wakes up at 2:45, 3-year-old kid who should be in the REM stage of sleep.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I hadn't seen this one yet. She should be in like the REM stage. Like babies don't wake up in the night at like 3 o'clock. Like I've got 2 young kids. They wake up at any time in the night. You go in REM and then you have a dream and then they wake up. Everyone knows toddlers don't sleep. Sleep maxing. Dude, this is...
Yeah, I'm so excited. Who knows? Okay, we're not clear on that. But... the implication is that's what woke up her 3-year-old daughter at 2:45 in the morning. That's not when toddlers at the age of 3 wake up, okay? These are sleep-trained toddlers, okay? Gigi wakes up at 2:45.
Sleep trained, like it's a dog that's been potty trained or something. Sleep trained. What the fuck is sleep trained? Am I sleep trained? Are you guys all sleep trained? What does that even mean? You don't have to train somebody to go to sleep. You go to sleep at night. That's the way it works. That's the training. That's your training course.
3-year-old kid who should be in the REM stage of sleep. Toddlers knock out. Maybe Gigi is a light sleeper. It's also just curious that...
Oh, just suspicious. I just feel that's a little weird. That's like her type of sit. Yeah, what shows she has no nurturing instinct. It's like, are you not even like taking care of your kids in the night? I think it is. There's another clip where she has a nanny that gets up with her crying babies at night. Crazy. Just doesn't have any idea what it's like to actually raise her kids. She wrote a book about like, go make him a sandwich, but she's here boss bitching her conspiracy kook podcast of disinfo. Dude. No wonder Charlie didn't. No wonder Charlie chose Erika.
Just curious that they're all awake. It's 2:45 a.m. in the morning. I don't know what's going on. But the resolution, she's clear on. The resolution to this sort of pre-dawn fracas is that Gigi is going to sleep in Charlie's bed, and because she wanted him to be amazing. I'm starting to get a feeling that there might have been another reason that the daughter woke up, but stick with me.
Wait, we have a theory based on her hunch. Maybe Charlie came in a dream and said, the baby woke up because she was fighting with me. Maybe that's what happened. Oh my God. And people always do. I see online, they'll find the shirts that she's wearing and look up how much they cost. And all she wears is like designer stuff. That's like every time it's like over $1,000. And she wants to talk shit about Erika talking about hat sales.
Maybe.
Stay with me. Here we go. Allegedly, my feels, my vibes. I don't know, but I think I know. Let me just pull some bullshit straight out of my ass like everything else and get it totally wrong again.
Stick with me. Maybe there's noise, not from excitement, but maybe an argument.
Maybe there was an argument.
That would make more sense to me, especially when we add in how...
Yeah, babies never wake up unless there's an argument, a divorce argument. Oh, and yeah, now we know why Charlie chose Erika. Dude, this is the shit she does. Is this what her documentary is going to be? Her feels, her theory, her vibe that they might have had a fight. The baby waked up and it must have been a fight. So she killed him.
She concludes that portion by telling us that Charlie took off his wedding ring during that same night, which is why he, of course, then had to put it back on the next morning. And
holy shit. Whoa. Wait a second. Took his ring off when he slept at night? Wow. Now I'm sold. Took the wedding ring off at nighttime and put it back on when he woke up in the morning? Holy shit. Dude, it was Erika. Let's make a documentary and say Erika did it.
Erika says that he snuck in the next morning to put that wedding band on. I immediately clocked that. Even when that interview was live, I said, that's weird, just because I know Charlie. But I couldn't explain that to the audience. I know Charlie. Charlie's the kind of person who could sleep with his boots on. Like this little ring. I don't know virtually any men. Truly, I don't know any. But obviously, I'm assuming there are. Maybe you've got a funky little band and maybe your hand's swollen with somewhere. I don't know, that like meticulously take that little band off. Charlie doesn't strike me as the type of person who would do that. I said, that seems a little off. I just would like to ask why. She then says,
seems
that Charlie
a little off.
Woke up for a snack.
This is why I hate her so much.
2:45 in the morning. Do that. I said, that seems a little off.
The way she moves the hand. Look, hold on. Let's do this. Look at the hand.
Charlie doesn't strike me as the type of person who would do that. I said, that seems a little off.
Seems a little off. Dude, this is the type of shit. Who is watching this? Who is still backing her with this shit? How does she have millions of followers? How is this the leading opposition against Jews? Here's Dan Bongino attacking her today. It's one of the top responses I've seen.
Erika didn't choose this, man. She didn't choose this.
Dramatic much?
Imagine sitting there.
Long pauses.
In your house, and you find out from Twitter or, I don't know, a text or a phone call or that your husband was just shot in the neck for the entire world to see on social media at a public event. I can't imagine that. I know you can't either.
It's so wild that there hasn't even been a trial. Like, what if the trial happens and just all this evidence comes out, all this irrefutable evidence that it was actually just the guy that they arrested? How's it going to look now for all these conspiratainment peddlers? I want more names, too. I want to create a list of all the people that back this.
$5. Tell me what you think, but she somewhat reminds me of Nancy Grace. Off-putting, into the grotesque.
I don't know what she reminds me of, but it's grotesque is a good word for it.
Then you got to go through this.
Yeah, Candace is so awful, it's got me siding with Bongino and Ben Shapiro. She's such a discrediting clown, muddying the waters and making everybody retarded.
And you got a bunch of absolute fucking lunatics sending her emails. You did it. Comments, tweets. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. You demonic.
Jimmy Dore, Stu Peters, Owen Benjamin, Lionel. I want Dugan. Who else? Who else is her big stands?
Fucking scum.
Oh yeah, I was gonna look up if Hinkle was one, or George Galloway.
For as much as I hate what just happened, I wish ill on no one, and everyone should restrain their emotions from the other side because they are not on our side. Everyone. Once you go down the road of violence, there's no turning back. There's always someone stronger than you, man. Always. There's a whole lot of people stronger than me. And I'm sorry if the language distracts from you, but I can think of no
This is the worst clip.
way to say it than fuck you, motherfuckers.
Uh-huh.
You deserve to feel the little licks of the flames of hell on every inch of your body. Fuck you. If there's an afterlife, and I believe there is, I believe in the second creation. I don't pretend to be the judge and jury, but I know you're not.
Okay, worst clip ever. Yeah, I was right. Jackson Hinkle, the other big Duganist Russia shill, has also been doing the Israel did it and boosting. See, Candace caught Erika Kirk lying, December 2025. All right? Don't call me some conspiracy kook for noticing that it's all the usual suspects, Dugan Connecta Russia shills that are backing this and Candace and doing the Khazarian kooky stuff. All right, we notice.
Of Erika Kirk.
Let's hear a bit of what Ben is saying. That's the other big response today.
Candace Owens, as you may have heard me refer at the top of the show, is an evil, twisted human being. Now, the reason I say that today is because Candace has spent the last several months attacking the widow of Charlie Kirk, Erika Kirk. It took her just a few days after Charlie's sick murder in order to start casting aspersions at Turning Point USA, people who work there all the way up to the highest levels, up to and including Erika Kirk. She was doing that very, very quickly, and she's been doing it for months. I mean, truly for months.
I'm seeing nobody else in the comments give me any more names of who's backing it. Ian Carroll, that's the other one. That's the big one. That's the biggest one, actually. Ian Carroll.
Yesterday, she came out with something that she had announced she was doing, which is a series. This is a trailer for a series, a teaser trailer, that is titled Bride of Charlie, which is supposedly now an expose on the evil, nefarious, predatory nature of Erika Kirk, the widow of Charlie Kirk, who again was shot in the neck, not by some sort of vast conspiracy involving French intelligence and Egyptian airplanes, but by a trans-loving gay man who is a furry. That
13,000 likes. Look at this, by the way. I just remembered, or I saw it up on Rumble. Adam King is having a debate with some of his, this is the Temple Institute Israel 365 writer, Adam Berkowitz, and this is his Cohen, that's funny, he did the quotes, Cohen priest friend that did the red heifer with him, and they're debating Christians versus Jews, allies or enemies. Do Gentiles have a place in the temple? So they're fighting over if their red heifer sacrifice was kosher or not with the Temple Institute and this guy. And I thought that the rancher, the Christian rancher, was supposed to be here. Maybe he left already, but anyway, I'd be listening to that. If allies or enemies, I wonder what they say. Oh, there he is.
The problem, and I've discovered this in other areas in my reporting, when it comes to there's so many projects out there that are bringing the temple. If we wanted to start the temple service,
E. Michael Jones is pushing it too. There's another Russia shill. There's another Khazarian Christian Catholic controlled opposition Russian shill. There you go. Perfect. Funny how all the biggest names doing it. Ian Malcolm and Truth Teller, another two big Russia Christian dudes promoting Jesus. Good one. Not very big, though. It's hard to, although they got bigger accounts than me a very short time. So Ryan Matta, that's another big one, too. Good one, Jack Stone.
Sent $5. Our kosherized digital public square has become nothing but a stage to compete for fealty to the Jew system. It is like people crying at a state funeral in North Korea, or the Hunger Games reality show. So sickening, so farcical.
It's such a joke. Such a kosher theater. Funny how the few other names that people came up with also are like the my already suspicious glowing Putin shill controlled opposition rhetoric people. Funny.
we could do it in 4 hours. Everything is that close. Everything is that ready. But there's so many of these people are zealots. It's got to be my way, or it's not okay. And it's like, you know, when the Mashiach comes, like, no, I don't like this Mashiach. It's got to be the way.
Tim Pool's not promoting it.
And that's and there's so many people who have done that. The Sanhedrin, we don't have, like Baria said, and he was absolutely right. We don't have Kohanim. You know, the Kohanim, they used to be organized.
Yeah, it's the red heifer rancher.
Each group of Kohanim.
And they're beefing. They're having a Jew feud where this is the guy that's connected to the Temple Institute and the Israel 365 network, who they're arguing about if their red heifer sacrifice and then mixing in the water and sprinkling on themselves that Adam and his buddy here did with their rancher friend.
Knew when they would come. They had a schedule. They had an accounting.
We're not going to do the whole thing. All right.
You know, she is open-minded to.
Everybody's like, oh, Tucker, Megan, everybody, how are you not calling this out? So here's a clip of her a while back saying, oh, she wasn't attacking
He said that
Candace. But if she did, that would be disgusting. So everybody's waiting for a big disavow from Megyn Kelly, and I bet you she's still going to move the goalpost and not do it.
He said that Candace has been claiming Erika Kirk was behind the murder of Charlie, which I had not heard, and I was taken aback because that seems like something I would have heard. It's so crazy. And I have since learned it is not true. Candace has not made that claim. And in fact, I've now seen several clips of Candace specifically defending Erika Kirk and saying she would never make a claim.
I'm not exactly sure. This might have been true at the time because we saw the compilation earlier, the edit, where she was she wasn't accusing her and defending her early on and appeared. But now that she's switched, everybody's like, is there going to be a disavow?
Like that about Erika, and that she is open-minded to other people.
Who's hotter, Megan or Erika? Erika.
Making that point. I had heard that point. But that
I don't know. We'll have to see her when she was in her 20s.
But she's specifically been defending Erika Kirk, and she's been saying she does not think that of Erika. And in fact, if you read her comments, she's under pressure to make comments about Erika. And so far, what I've seen, she hasn't. So thank you for that question. He said that Candace has been claiming Erika Kirk was behind the murder of Charlie, which I had not heard.
Theories are out there, and I'm.
Let's see her conditioning her audience to be like cultists. Let's see. This is this edit.
Yeah, you got to be just insane to trust the authorities. As soon as somebody says, we're just trusting the authorities, suspect.
Look at Megyn Kelly when she was young. Look at that hair. She's pretty, though. I don't like she's got the trans Skeletor look. Oh, Zempa sucking cheeks look.
He sent $5 on Rumble. Al Bishai should be added, but he is on the B list.
B list. Is he doing Erika Kirk stuff and backing Candace? Really? That chin could cut glass. Cocker Spaniel ear hair. The 80s, yeah. Okay, guys. In the chat, give your votes. Who would you rather? Girls, you could vote too. Who do you think is prettier? Oh my God, I hate she's doing the eye flutter thing. Oh, I can't stand her. I can't stand looking at her and listening to her. Stop making this girl famous. Anyway,
on the list.
Megyn Kelly or Erika in the chat. Who do you think is better looking?
What do you mean we're trusting the feds? Like, since when are we doing that? And trusting the feds. Don't question anything. I don't really trust these feds.
90s
right?
Megyn?
Like, no,
pre-trans Megyn?
And since when do we trust the feds? Trust us, we're the feds, bro. We don't trust the feds. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anything right now. Okay, I trust absolutely nothing. Mia writes, we need truth, and I trust only you right now. Thank you. Aravik writes, you're the only voice I fully trust. Trust me, trust me. Rose writes, no matter what videos I've seen from people on.
Al's a Candace stand now too? Well, just like he was wrong about Trump getting in, and I bet him, and I was right, he's wrong about this, and I'm right. We'll see.
On the left or right calling you crazy. I call it faking gay.
Skeletor,
support. Truth
drunk
is all
Megyn.
that matters, and Christ is king. Yeah, here is the thing. People know truth when they hear it, okay? You know truth when you see it. Charlie's neck indeed.
Yeah, definitely not Candace. That's a no question.
Okay, and this is going to dispel a lot of theories that are out there.
Okay, do we have to show you Erika in college?
100%. Charlie Kirk was shot from the front, and the bullet did not exit. Nothing is making sense at all. It has not made sense from the very beginning, okay? And that's because the feds are involved. I'm grateful that you guys trust me to be your voice. They didn't recover a bullet from a 30-06. Just didn't happen. He was shot with a completely different kind of gun, obviously. We can only trust the feds. Tell us what happened. Yeah, right. We can't trust them at all. I only have a platform.
You can only trust Candace. You can only trust Mitch Snow. You can only trust the Egyptian plains. Yeah, and I'm not saying I don't think Erika is like super attractive or anyway. A little mid. She was a beauty queen, and like but still a little mid. But she's the Viking queen. They're both Viking queens, actually.
You know, if I had lied, I wouldn't have earned your trust. There's old footage of Tyler Robinson that is now circulating from a car accident that he had. Tyler certainly refers to it as his car, not his vehicle.
And as I get into the intersection, there was a vehicle in the lane.
So I say, just be transparent. I don't trust.
Yeah, remember, she's wrong about that. She's like, she was saying for a while too, she's like, he climbed up the wall like Spider-Man. And it's like, no, actually, you just walk up the stairs and go over this little barrier thing. It's really easy. Wrong about that. She's like, pretty suspicious. He texted vehicle. Nobody ever says the word vehicle. And then in the video that we have, he literally uses the word vehicle. Candace would go from like a 5 to a 6 if she had a good attitude and she didn't have her personality. She would go from a 5 to a 6. That's what I would say.
Anonymous sent $5. Do you think Candace knows she's a disinfo asset, or she is genuinely just that stupid that she thinks she's onto something? My guess is the latter.
I think she's just that stupid. I think it's just that stupid, and a lot of people are that stupid. And bot and platform. Let's not forget how she got famous too, by the way, by a bunch of Jewish organizations.
His vehicle.
And as I get into the intersection, there was a vehicle in the lane.
So I say, just be transparent. I don't trust people that don't just release and speak about everything. There's a lot more information that I wish I could share. There is, of course, a specific reason why I'm asking for that. If you're going to be transparent, be transparent. I think you should let me see that because people trust me. I'm not going to publish it. I just want to see it. I'm not going to.
Yo, I thought the thing was broken.
Have you already seen Tyler Oliveira's new documentary?
No, but look at the thumbnail for it. I do have it. 50,000 likes. Watch it here. we'll watch it. We'll watch the full thing tonight. We already got a ton of stuff on the docket today. We'll do a full watch through tonight. Goyim Task Force, dude, look at that. The money, the chickens, the Goyim Task Force. This YouTuber has like 7 million, 3 million followers or something like this. He did one of these like a month ago. Maybe I need to up my men on the street game. Man in the synagogue game. No, I haven't seen it yet, but we'll do a watch through tonight. How about that? If we hit the goal today, I'll do a full watch live stream of that tonight. No audiobook yet. I gotta get all the books bagged up and packed out. That's what I've been doing all day when I'm not streaming, is bagging and packing, labels, and then post office in the morning. So if you got the book from the website, you should be getting yours in about a week or so, I think, most likely.
I publish the footage, but I want to see it with my own 2 eyes so I can stand on this platform, so I can sit here on this platform and I can say to the world, no funny business happened. Truly, we can all go home. It was Tyler Robinson and he acted alone. And I think the world would trust me.
Dude, they haven't even had the trial. They're not releasing any of the info they have until the trial. They save it for the trial is when the info comes out. And she's like, I don't believe it. That face, those faces she makes. Oh, it's so gross. I'm disgusted by the people that think that this woman is worth listening to. They just gassed his Patreon. Oh, they banned his Patreon for this? Wow.
Christian dummies or God's chosen people? Sometimes I enjoy the dummies going hard, even if they're dummies.
There's issues with both in different ways. Thank you, Liam.
$10 on Rumble towards the Coverage Stream Tonight Fund.
Thank you. Yeah, if we hit the goal, we'll watch the whole thing tonight. Am I a hate watcher? Yes, but I don't hate watch Candace. I would prefer to never ever see Candace, but I'm sorry. She's in the spotlight. She's the news story. She's what everybody's talking about. She's got the biggest soapbox. She's the one spouting all the disinfo. That's why it's the focus on it. All right, hold on. Before we get to the Turks, or actually, no, maybe hold on. Let's do, before we get into her Kazari and look, I want to look into some of this too. Dinesh D'Souza sat down with Nancy Mace and Roger Stone to talk about his questions about Israel, Nick Fuentes, Jewish genetics, private text. All this sounds good. Why early Zionists were secular socialists. Let's see that spin. Are Jews Abraham's descendants? The Dragon Prophecy Israel tour. That's the Rabbi Jonathan Cahn book and document that Dinesh turned into a documentary. So I want to go through that too. And then we have the whole Tucker Huckabee interview.
Edom sent $5.
Yes.
Hey, Adam. Got your signed book yesterday. Gonna save that copy in pristine condition as a collector item. Hoping that pays off, ha. How to get Candace fans tuned into Adam Green.
Oh, her fans are the worst too. Her fans are so stupid. When you post about it on Twitter, or I'll see also coincidentally, she's #1 biggest on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, here, not banned on YouTube. Come on, how is this not so obviously some type of op? They're allowing her to rise to the top with her kookiness. All right, let's see. Before I get into Candace's stupid Khazar crap, it's annoying to have to keep going over this Khazar thing too. I feel like I've covered it so many times, but that's what Tucker's talk was about. Look at this. Stu Peters gets 100,000 likes for the Khazarian disinfo. Yeah, the problem with Netanyahu is that he's not Jewish enough. That's where we're at.
Family, we know they lived in Eastern Europe.
In the entirety of the world, there are about 16 million Jews total. And 8 million of them live here. The rest live mostly in New York or South Florida. and a few other places.
Okay.
So this is a small population of people. They have connection to this land, historically, biblically.
Do they?
Yes, they do.
If Bibi's family, we know they lived in Eastern Europe. There's no evidence they ever lived here. He's not religious.
But no evidence besides all the genetic studies that show Ashkenazi do go back to the Levant. From like I've seen from like 50 to 70% Levantian. It goes back linked to Sephardic Jews also, and to Palestinians in the area. Common DNA. So wrong there. Yes, there is. You should know about this, but he doesn't, because the real world isn't concerned with fake Jew kookery. That's only internet disinfo conspiracies.
To this land, historically, biblically.
Do they?
Yes, they do.
If Bibi's family, we know they lived in Eastern Europe. There's no evidence they ever lived here. He's not religious.
But
in what sense
he's not religious. His family was religious. He talks about his wife having a Bible study. His son, he says, is a great biblical scholar. He's not religious. He's not Jewish enough. He puts on the yarmulke. He puts on the tefillin. He prays with the rabbis. He cites biblical terms in Isaiah and Amalek. Like, our problem with Netanyahu is that he's really a white European, not a real Jew, and not Jewish enough. Completely missing the mark. Missing the mark so badly that it seems like they're doing it on purpose.
Naturally. Do you have his family tree? No, we don't.
Do you?
He doesn't. So no one does. That's the point. So how do we know that he has any connection to this land at all?
And if there is a practice of Judaism and a connection to the language, the Bible, the land.
His ancestors didn't. He doesn't practice Judaism in any rigorous way.
See, he was going to say his ancestors didn't practice, but he couldn't make that claim.
Way. His ancestors didn't live here. They didn't speak the language, and there's no evidence they ever lived here. So on what basis does he have a right to be here?
Very much speaks the language. He has fought for the land. His family has fought for the land.
He was born there, too.
Obvious question, which is, where does this right come from? And the reason it's meaningful is because there are...
Well, how about it comes from the idea of Jews being chosen, which you affirm. How come we're not just saying, hey, nobody was ever chosen, that's obviously fake? Why isn't that the conversation?
$5 if you go to the illustrative DNA subreddit, and half the posts are Ashkes with 50+% Canaanite ancestry. These people are schizo.
He does the same stupid argument that you see online also. They go, oh, genetic studies, DNA tests are banned in Israel. It's the stupidest fucking argument ever. Number one, it's only a half truth. They can still get DNA tested. There's just some like privacy law that they have. Probably paranoid about some Nazi medical company getting all the Jewish DNA so they can wipe them out or something. Or also, I thought the conspiracy used to be that you had to do a DNA test to confirm you're Jewish to be given right of return in citizenship. So that doesn't add up with the other conspiracy, which was actually true and was some truth to that also. But this is so retarded. You go, oh, the Ashkenazi can't get DNA tests, as if they couldn't just influence the DNA company to say it goes back to the Middle East. It's another stupid point. And the biggest one, Ashkenazi Jews all over the world and in America get DNA tests. And it says, Levant, Ashkenazi.
Dollars, or you can't be reading for the audio book. I have a profile on 11 Labs, and I cloned your voice. Onk if you want access to it in case you want to use the...
I heard that you're not allowed to do AI voice for audibles, but maybe we'll do that.
Tuesday shekels.
Yeah, the idea that like they run everything. There's a secret cabal that 1,000 years ago all converted, and it's some huge, vast conspiracy. And then a 1,000 years later, they finally achieved it, and it's just like all deflection from Judaism, all a red herring to distract.
A lot of
like as if they make the argument, no DNA tests allowed in Israel, as if there's not tons of genetic studies on Jews, number one, and Jews in America can go get DNA tests, and it says Ashkenazi.
People in the territory that Israel controls today, particularly in the West Bank.
Retarded in like 10 different ways.
Who, through genetic testing, we can know their families have been here for thousands of years. We don't know whether they practiced Judaism, whether they were Samaritans, pre-Islam. We don't know that. A lot of them we know have been Christians for 2,000 years. They have less of a right to the land than someone whose ancestors, the only thing we know about them is they lived in Latvia or Poland. They're Eastern European. How does that work?
They're Jewish.
By what definition?
They're Jewish by their
But how do we know they have any connection
They're
to
Jewish
the Jews
by their
of the,
faith. They're
of the
Jewish
Bible?
by the connection to the language. Jewish by the connection to the Torah.
Their
How do
behavior.
we know that BB, specifically BB's,
Also, another thing that's retarded about this, the same people that want to blame Jews for killing Jesus claim they're not the real Jews that would have killed Jesus. They're fake imposters.
That made me lose my yesterday with his they were not real Jews. Have you contacted him yet? He needs to be straightened out.
I've replied to him a few times, but I mean, I tried. I've been trying to correct people on this shit for years, and it just falls on deaf ears. They don't care. They don't want to know the truth. He's had enough times that these guys don't want to have me on. They would have had me on already if they wanted to have me on.
ancestors ever lived here?
I'll have to watch it. They'll have to clip it. Maybe I'll do a reaction. I'll find the clips, give me the timestamps. I'll do a reaction to it, and then maybe he'll respond to what I say. How about that? That's a good idea.
How do we know that?
I'm not sure if I understand your question.
How do we know if the Prime Minister of Israel's ancestors ever lived?
Maybe I could ask you, how do we know they didn't? I mean,
well, it's on the base.
Yeah, what are you trying to say? You should say, what are you trying to say here? Like, does Huckabee even know about the Khazarian mafia conspiracy? He might not. He's not on 4chan.
Of the claim that they did that
he's not in the BitChute. He's not on BitChute.
Displaced. There's a money flow. I mean, it's a big question. A lot hangs on this. It's not some theoretical thing like, oh, you know, did my grandparents do this or do that? It's like, no, we have a right to be here because my ancestors were here. Okay, how do we know they were here?
I'm totally unable to process what you're trying to get at.
It's a legit point. It's a legit point. How about, like, so what, if they could prove that they're the real Jews, which they can through genetic studies, they do have the right to go take the land because God gave it to them? That's also the implication to this logic here. 100,000 likes for that, for the fake Jews, for Stu Peters, who's been talking about Jews for like a few years, shilling Jesus, scamming people on meme coins, entertaining flat earth and all these kooky conspiracies. The worst. Scared to debate Jesus. Can't even debate Jesus. Look at this. This guy, Rechtenwald, replies to Huckabee. We'll read Huckabee's tweet about this in a second. And he says, look, if Jews aren't Jews, why are you anti-Semitic? And he says, I'm not. I don't like Khazars, though. See, this idea that it's like, oh, it's just the fake. We're anti-Khazari. We're not anti-Jewish. They're just not the Jews of the Bible. If they were, then they'd be God's chosen people. As if just being the Jews of the Bible isn't like bad enough. They have to come up with some delusional, they're secretly Khazar theory. And then you're claiming they're white. It's a white supremacy. They're Europeans. It's Europeans just giving Jews a bad name. Look, Ian Carroll again. Another brand new JQer that gets boosted to the moon with the algorithms. Let's do some genetic tests and find out. Hey, retard. Do the slightest bit, 10 seconds of research. There's been tons of studies. And no, and don't go by the meme screenshot of the fake headline from the blog forum that says John Hopkins says 95%. That's retarded. Go look at all the numerous actual studies. Hey, dude, Ian, why don't you go find an Ashkenazi Jew, go do a DNA test, do a video, and show that it says he's not Jewish. Go do it, since they can't be studied. Candace, by the way, has been shilling this Jew's book. Where is it? The 13th Tribe. I saw that it's like one of the #1 top-selling Amazon books right now on religion is Arthur Kessler, the Zionist Jew who worked for the Zionist Jabotinsky as his secretary. He wrote the book trying to deflect away from European anti-Jewish racism and blaming them for killing Jesus by saying, "Oh, they're just white Europeans like you are. They didn't actually kill God." What? I don't see the book here. I thought I had it on my bookshelf. It's just blending in. There it is. Arthur Kessler's 13 Tribe that she keeps shilling, written by a Zionist. This is before the DNA studies too. We had genetic studies that debunked it. It's a crap book too. Not a good book. Very unconvincing. All these people cite it and go, "Oh, even Arthur Kessler's book says it." I bet you Candace is promoting this book and she didn't even read it. I bet you anything. You know who else? It's all the Russia shills, again, that promote the Khazar thing. Even Nick Fuentes was saying that on his show last night, noticing this. Noticing patterns about who shills the no true Jews shit. 13th Tribe is stupid, yeah. And, okay. So Ian Carroll, retarded again. There's been genetic studies. You can get DNA tests all around the world and even in Israel. 23andMe goes to Israel. Another big of the source of the popularization of this Khazar theory comes from a writer for Veterans Today. Remember that conspiracy site in the early days of the internet? Veterans Today. Also a bunch of Russia shills writing for there. Okay, what did Huckabee say? When I sat down with Tucker on Wednesday, I was expecting a thoughtful conversation that he would ask questions and give me the opportunity to actually respond, just like he did with the little Nazi sympathizer Nick Fuentes, or the guy who thought Hitler was the good guy and Churchill the bad guy. What I wasn't anticipating was a lengthy series of questions where he seemed to be insinuating that the Jews of today aren't really some people as the Jews. You want to learn about the Jews of today? Bring on some scientist, some geneticist that has done studies on Jews. How about that? Not the ambassador fundamentalist Christian, like he fucking knows about the Ashkenazi genetic studies. Veterans Today, full of kooky disinfo. They're some of the biggest popularizers of the Khazarian theory. Okay, he did not even expect that he would come at him and try to prove they're not the Jews of the Bible. Ashkenazi Jews spent the time in Europe. And it's stupid because they're only about 40% of the Jews in Israel are Ashkenazi. There's more Sephardic and Mizrahi Jews. So, like the 15th reason that it's a stupid argument. He had never encountered this theory that Tucker kept pushing on. See what I'm saying? You're not even on the radar. You're in the fringe, kooky parts of the internet that never make it away from there. Relegated to the fringes, obscure BitChute comments and BitChute videos. I think it's important to take a moment now and educate Tucker and anyone else who might get sucked in by this dangerous conspiracy theory, just as I have been educated this week. Dangerous for the wrong reasons. They play victim like it's anti-Semitic. Meanwhile, it's deflecting away from Jews and Judaism. They benefit it from both sides. Been weaponized by very bad people to delegitimize Jews and strip them of their history. It's an idea that gained traction in the 80s and 90s with David Duke and other Klansmen and neo-Nazis. He's wrong about this because I remember seeing a video years ago, David Duke debunking the Khazar theory. It has really caught fire in recent years on the internet and social media. That is true. Mostly from some of the most overt anti-Semites and Jew haters you can find. Mostly from the biggest Russia shills and retards that you can find. That's how I see it. Duke debunked it years ago. He's not even right about that. Nick doesn't go along with it. Kevin McDonald says it's stupid.
Related to Sephardi Jews, both genomes are extremely close to Sicilians, similar admixture of Proto-Italic European and Semitic.
Yeah, it's Middle Eastern Jews mixed with some different European areas. That's what it is. They're not white. You can tell the difference between an Ashkenazi Jew and a white. Ashkenazi Jews like Adam King, he almost, you could see some of the like Palestinian Middle Eastern physiognomy just mixed with some European. So wrong about David Duke. He actually debunked it. I don't know why Tucker was so fixated on this, and I'm certainly not saying he knew the origins of this conspiracy theory. I don't know what's in his heart or what he was thinking. But I do know that the discredited idea that most Ashkenazi or European Jews descended from an ancient Turkic kingdom of Khazaria is bunk. It's also been weaponized by people trying to delegitimize Jews, to strip them of their history, and to call them imposters or fake Jews. This odious conspiracy theory is peddled by the likes of Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes, and by the people who love David Duke. Again, wrong and wrong. Nick doesn't promote the Khazar thing. I don't think he's ever promoted the Khazar thing. And I don't know if Duke ever did, but I certainly know that there was a video going around years ago of him debunking it. And Islamist accounts that make up false smears about Israel. It's very Muslim coded. The Muslims love this. Sneeko was promoting it a lot too. Noahide Sneeko was promoting it. This is what all the Russia, anti-Israel Russia networks, they all promote. Zionism's not Judaism, and they're from Poland. Go back to Poland. Or they call them white settler colonialist. Or like Jay Dyer, they'll blame the British in secular atheist Jews for establishing Israel. Islam is make up right now country. Okay, but we know from genetics and rich volumes of written literature that the Jews of today can trace their lineage back thousands of years to Israel and the Jewish people of the Bible. They only act and believe and behave the same, follow the same religion, do the same thing, circumcise their kids, do their traditions, keep themselves separate, follow their commandments that they're supposed to while they're in exile. Their whole religion is about surviving in exile and not assimilating. And you're trying to tell me it's not the same people that are obsessed with their tribe and their in-group preference and keeping it only marrying Jewish?
$5 on Rumble. The Sicilian component in Jews is actually ancient Greek admixture. It's just modern Greeks have 30% Slavic admixture, so they no longer genetically look like Sicilians.
And not to mention that, like, the source of this, like, mass kingly conversion comes from a rabbi book called the Kuzari from 1,000 years ago. Some rabbi wrote some fake story, fake correspondence that tries that there's ultimately just symbolism that Judaism is a better religion than Islam and Christianity. That's what it actually is. It's like a polemic against Christianity and Islam. And they're taking this as true history. Look it up. Kuzari. Written by a rabbi. That's the source. So it's all these Jews promoting this theory. Like Arthur Kessler, the Zionist. Okay, and if Tucker wants to tour more than Ben Gurion Airport on his next clip to Israel, happy to show him where Jews have lived. I sincerely hope Tucker will let me know when he actually wants to learn facts about the land and the people. Asking me about conspiracy theories should remain on the fringes and not be the heart of the conversation. Dude, the fact that the leading opposition to Jews can't even recognize and just acknowledge that they're Jews, wild. Wild, wild, wild. Keith Woods had a good one here. An anti-Semite used to be someone who blamed the Jews for things they did. Now it's someone who blames the Jews for things they didn't do while insisting they're not actually Jews. Where's my meme? I have a meme for this too. Button. I'll search button. I think that's the way to find the meme. And this is to Candace's kooky disinfo. Here it is. Look, here's the dilemma of all these e-crusaders. Which button you going to press? Jews rejected their Messiah. I wanted to say Jews killed Jesus, but I didn't want to get my post flagged. So Jews killed Jesus, or Jesus is not Jewish. Oh, never mind. This is the wrong one. I'm so stupid. This is the cope about Jesus not being Jewish. You can't reject the Jews can't reject their Jewish Messiah and Jesus not be Jewish. Wrong button. Hold on. This one. They aren't the real Jews. The Jews killed Jesus. So which is it, Stu Peters? Which is it, Candace? You can't blame them for killing Jesus and say that they're the extension of the Pharisees, which they are, and then say they're not the real Jews. Pick a lane. Candace says, the people currently occupying Israel are Khazarian Turks. If you'd like to read an Israeli book about it, may I suggest, trust this Jew that says this. Might I suggest Abraham Polak's History of the Jewish Kingdom in Europe, also The Invention of the Jewish People by Shlomo Sand. And I would advise you to read what the critics of these books say. Did it pass peer review? Did it pass the smell check? Hey, some Jew wrote a book doesn't mean the book is true and what it says is right. I've heard the Shlomo Sand thing critics say it's trash, and he's some politically motivated as some anti-Zionist Jew. Probably leading the anti-Zionist charge with the stupid shit that fails, would be my guess. Stupid shit that fails. Look, Ted Cruz says. And then you're just the laughing stock. Look, you're taking the L's. Look, they clip up Tucker. Ted Cruz shares it. 20,000 likes. Just taking L's, making fools of themselves, deflecting and misdirecting and distracting everybody and confusing everybody, making everybody get everything wrong.
Live here and who doesn't, according to the theology. Abram's descendants are the ones who have the right to have this land, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't we do genetic testing on everybody in the land and find out who Abram's descendants are? It's really simple. We've cracked the human genome. We can do that.
Oh my God, they've done lots of studies already. Why are we pretending like there's been no studies? Look at this. He's got his eyebrows like, oh, why don't we do studies? And also, Abraham never existed. There's no covenant where God promised land. Why are we assuming that's all true? Why are we arguing from this standpoint? So, and also, you don't have the DNA of Abraham. You can't trace the DNA to a person that never existed.
Why don't we do that? Would you be against doing that?
I have no idea what that would prove. I mean,
Really?
maybe it would be.
What do you mean? What it would prove who
nonsensical.
Abram's descendants are and who has a right to live here and who doesn't, according to the theology that you yourself just explained. And so I'm very confused as to why we don't do that. If you believe the theology that you've just explained to me.
Would we do that all over the world?
Well,
and everybody
this is the only country in the world that you've said has this covenant with God, that this
Yeah, hey, we should DNA test all the Chinese people to see if they're really Chinese.
people have
Good
a
idea.
moral and legal right to the land.
What about
And
people who convert to Judaism? Would they have a right?
Well, you've just said
I mean,
that
there are
it's not
converts to Judaism, so
you just told
they
me
can make aliyah. They may not.
No.
You've just
DNA.
told me.
Hold on. They have the right to go there if they want and try to buy land or settle land that's not owned by anybody. But the issue is stealing the land by force from the Palestinians that were there. Doesn't matter if they're really the Jews or not. Doesn't matter where they're from. Doesn't matter if they're really the Jews of the Bible or if the Bible of the covenant is real or it's for the Christians. None of that matters. All that really matters is did they use violence and force to steal land from the Palestinians? That's the only issue that should matter here. Right?
Me that it doesn't matter. You told me moments ago, trying to keep track.
Okay.
That it doesn't matter whether or not you believe in God or whether or not you practice Torah Judaism or Rabbinic Judaism, which is something else that I don't even know if we should, I don't even know what that means, but
like the whole obsession of the Jews when their temple was destroyed was next year in Jerusalem, praying to return to Jerusalem, wanting to rebuild the temple, wanting to have their Messiah and their prophecies and an end of exile and a return to the land. It's all Jewish. It's all from the Torah. There was many religious Zionist movements before Theodor Herzl, and they just want to be like, oh, it's modern, fake Jew, Europeans, atheists. That's the issue. Like completely missing the whole actual conspiracy of Zionism, aka Judaism. And then they do, oh, it's not Zionism, it's not Judaism, it's Zionism. They all do that shtick too. They get everything wrong.
It doesn't matter whether you're, quote, a religious Jew or not. What matters is that you are part of the Jewish people to whom God gave this land that extends from the Nile to the Euphrates. And so if you believe that, wouldn't you want to know with a burning passion who those people are? And because of science, we can now know who those people are. So why aren't we finding out?
Dude, what kind of gaslighting is this? Dude, how do I... Are you not online? I see in the replies everywhere. They show the graphs of the DNA haplogroups and how they're different and separate from Europeans. Google it, dude. Grok it. ChatGPT it. Look it up. There are studies. This is such a stupid fucking question.
Because of science, we can now know.
We can do it. Why haven't we?
So why aren't we finding out?
Oh, asking the real questions.
Propose a DNA test for everybody who comes here, everybody who lives here. But the point
I'm comfortable with secular nation states where none of this is done on the basis of blood. I'm uncomfortable with that. I'll just say that.
Jewish DNA studies. Oh my God. Like, bro, can you just not use Google? Who he's going to go interview. He's going to make the whole focus and topic of his big publicized debate. Flies to Israel, debates the ambassador to Israel, one of the top Christian Zionists in the country. And he comes at him with this and goes, why don't we do studies to see if they're Jews? And doesn't even Google, or none of his team Googles that all the studies they've done. There's a whole Wikipedia page full of all the studies showing varying degrees of admixtures with local host populations, but they generally show that Jewish populations, Ashkenazi Jews, share a common Middle Eastern ancestry. He's not saying, oh, all the studies are wrong or there's some conspiracy with the studies. He doesn't even know that there are studies. They're one of the most genetically studied group on earth, obsessed with their chosen identity and their genetics and their purity. They Googled it. They just don't care. It's false. Probably. And the other thing is like anybody watching this that goes, what? They're not real Jews, and goes online and looks it up, they're going to quickly realize, oh, all these leading anti-Semites like Tucker, they say he's the biggest anti-Semite in the country, is just wrong about everything and a total goof and idiot and thinks he's being attacked by demons in his bed. And is over in Russia making propaganda videos at the grocery store. Like, fail. Common L. Just retarded. Look, Candace again. That is accurate. Judaism is a mask for Khazars. See, Judaism's not the problem. It's just the Khazars using it as a shield. This explains the ethnic cleansing happening in Ukraine. They want their empire back. Again, wrong, kooky. This is where it ties in with the QAnon Putin shilling theories. Putin's waging war against the Khazarian mafia. The Khazarians want to take Ukraine and set up their biolabs and take out Putin, who's standing up to the Satanists and the demonic satanic West New World Order pedophile cabal. And Putin's waging war on the Khazarian mafia because they want to take Ukraine and set up a new Khazaria. No, it's Judaism wanting the Temple Mount and wanting Israel. in Jerusalem. That's what it is. The Ukraine tie-in is proof that it's Russia shells? I think so. And again, covering for Judaism. Judaism's not the problem. It's secret Khazarian Baal worshippers. And then again, running cover for the Jews, Candace says, to be honest though, this stuff doesn't even require literacy. Is she revealing that she doesn't even have literacy? She says, God's chosen people don't mass murder, steal, create systems of usury, and rape children in occult ceremonies. It's kind of common sense. I hate her so much. I hate her. First of all, what is this idea that like, oh, God's chosen people are perfect. Like they're chosen by God, the apple of his eye. They would never do anything bad. Have you not read the Bible? Have you not seen the commandments? She hasn't read the Bible, clearly. She hasn't read the Old Testament. The God's chosen people would never mass murder. He calls to mass murder the Amalekites, to bash the babies' heads on the rocks, to even kill man, woman, and child and the livestock. It says, go take out the seven nations in Canaan and steal their land and knock down their idols and kill and take their women. Oh, the chosen people would never create systems of usury? God commands them to lend to the nations and do not borrow and only charge interest to the foreigner, not to the fellow Jew. She's retarded and doesn't know anything. And she's the leading voice, 35,000 likes for this mental illness where it's like, oh, well, the Jews could do no wrong. They're just not real Jews. Lend to the nations, shall not borrow. This stupid bitch thinks, oh, God's chosen people would never do usury. That's Babylonian money magic, right? Deuteronomy 15:6. Hold on, we'll go to it better. For the Lord your God will bless you as he has promised. You will lend to many nations, but will borrow from none. You will rule over many nations, but none will rule over you. That's your Jewish God Yahweh and his chosen people. Ruling over, conquering, killing, genociding, and enslaving with usury. But she'll never criticize Judaism. She says so herself because she's a Christian. They can only criticize fake Khazar theories or the Talmud, but never the Torah.
And of course, that cannot be the case.
Because it's their book.
No, I am a Christian. So for me to make that statement that Judaism is a... No, I am a Christian. So for me to make that statement that Judaism is a pedophile-centric religion would mean that I believe the Torah condones pedophilia. And of course, that cannot be the case because I am a Christian. And so those first books in my Bible are relevant. But of course, they knew I didn't say that. The point is that they had the audacity to lie. And then they... No, I am
See, not even anti-Jewish, anti-fake Jew, anti-Khazarian, not anti-Judaism. See the problem here? Her logic is so bad too, and she thinks she's so smart. She's probably like one of the Dunning-Kruger, like one of the dumbest people that thinks they're such a genius. Remember the clip where she was like, I don't know how to play chess. I don't know how to play chess, but I'm like an expert chess master. Shut the fuck up. I'm going to ban this guy. I'm not pro-Ukraine, dude. I wouldn't give a shit about their battle. I'm anti all the Russia shills doing the disinfo and meddling in the discourse in the West. All right? Oh, the Jews are on the other side. Like, dude, you're fucking retarded. I'm not putting up with that stupid bullshit. Later, Pay Dabs, who's not even a regular here at all, that comes here just to try to lie and misrepresent my position. Funny how you're not addressing all the stuff I'm showing right now. You're just in here trying to straw man. All right. I can't believe this gets 35,000 likes for this stupid post.
In the West Bank, who, through genetic testing, we can know their families have been here for thousands of years. We don't know whether they practiced Judaism, whether they were Samaritans. pre-Islam. We don't know that. A lot of them we know have been Christians for 2,000 years. They have less of a right to the land than someone whose ancestors, the only thing we know about them is they lived in Latvia or Poland. They're Eastern European. How does that work?
They're Jewish.
By what definition?
They're Jewish by their
But how do we know they have any connection
They're
to
Jewish
the Jew?
By their noses, by their religion, by their genetics, by their traditions, by their circumcision, by following their commandments, because their parents were Jewish.
Their faith, they're Jewish by the connection to the language, Jewish by the connection.
Okay, we already saw that clip already. Let's do this. RT always promoting Zionism's not Judaism. Listen to this fringe, toothless rabbi that is still a Zionist, just thinks the Mashiach needs to come first. RT promoting the Tucker thing, promoting this controlled anti-Zionist Christian shtick. Oh, this is also, Tucker had to take down and repost this debate he had because he slandered the president Herzog, claiming that he went to the island, but the Herzog in the email was apparently a different Herzog, is my understanding. So he retracted so he wouldn't get a defamation case.
So I asked Huckabee, were you aware that this email suggests that the current president of Israel, Isaac Herzog, went to Epstein's island? Current president of Israel, current president, who I know you know, President Herzog,
know him very well,
apparently was at Pedo Island. That's what it says in the disclosure. And so I just want to say clearly, I'm sorry to imply that I knew something I didn't know. Of course, I don't know that Isaac Herzog was on the island. Yes, in the Epstein files, and I don't know that I've heard the current president of Israel respond to it, but he is listed as a visitor to Pedo Island. But I don't know that, and I didn't mean to suggest that I do know that. But you're surprised to hear that the current president of Israel, whom you know, is listed as a visitor to Pedo Island. So I asked Huckabee, were you aware that this email suggests that the current president of Israel, Isaac Herzog, went to Epstein's island? Current president of Israel, current president, who I know you know, President Herzog.
Okay, hold on. Pollard, so he mentioned Pollard. I haven't seen that section yet. Maybe we'll skip it until we see that section. Okay, here they are fighting about Amalek. Let's see the Amalek talk.
The leadership is a different question, and I want to refer you very specifically to a number of speeches the Prime Minister, your friend Benjamin Netanyahu, gave in the aftermath of October 7th, including one in November of that year, when he referred to Amalek. Now, Amalek is a biblical reference, so of course you'll be very familiar with that. The Amalekites were a tribe described throughout the Bible, particularly in 1 Samuel, that obstructed the Jews as they fled Egypt. And God tells Samuel to give the instructions to Saul to kill the Amalekites. And he says, and I'm sure you remember this is in 1 Samuel 15, of course, I know you know it. He says, kill the men, kill the women, kill the children, kill the infants, kill the donkeys, kill the camels, kill everything. And Saul spares the king, and he spares the animals. And for that, he is punished by God. That is genocide. God is calling for genocide of the Amalekites, of Amalek.
So why is it only Netanyahu saying it that's bad, not that this is the Jewish God that commanded that in the first place?
And the Prime Minister of Israel...
It's almost like he forgot that he's LARPing as a Christian. He's like, God could commanded genocide. It's like, okay, you sound like a Reddit atheist argument. I thought you were LARPing as a Christian. That's the God you worship, no?
Israel, at least once, I believe on other occasions, described the Palestinians in Gaza as Amalek. That's calling for genocide. And you know that.
I totally disagree.
Tell me then what it means.
Because to say that Israel was attempting to commit genocide, first of all, That's simply not true.
I'm saying, what is the prime minister talking about? Why would he refer to the Palestinians as Amalek? What is Amalek?
You would have to ask him. I don't know. I know what Amalek is. I do understand 1 Samuel 16. I get all
15.
that.
1 Samuel 15.
I do understand.
And it's widely known. So if you say our enemy is Amalek and we are proceeding on the basis of God's commands to us, you are calling for genocide. Tell me how I'm missing something.
Because if Israel wanted to commit genocide, they could have done it in 2.5 hours.
Also, like, obviously the answer is they got attacked on October 7th. They portray Hamas as terrorists that want to kill as many Jews as possible. So they view them as Amalek, and Amalek is attacking them, and they're going to rise and kill first. That's obviously what he means by this. And yes, it is invoking a biblical enemy that justifies calling for their genocide. Exactly. But the idea, all he had to say is like, well, they consider Hamas as terrorists that want to kill him. So that he compares them to Amalek. Like, it's the obviously clear answer.
We can debate what's happened in Gaza. I'm asking you why the leader of this country.
Ask him.
Well, what do you think?
I don't know.
Does it bother you at all?
People, I don't know what he meant. I don't know if it was an illustrative metaphor. I think what he was saying was that we're not going to let anything keep us from getting our hostages back, their sons and their daughters who are being brutalized, raped, tortured, starved, beaten.
Come on, Mr. Messer.
No, I think
there are many examples of justice in the Bible. But there are
Israel
very
gets
few...
accused of genocide regularly.
I'm not accusing Israel of anything. I'm saying that the prime minister of Israel described the Palestinians
Do you think he attempted to do genocide?
I'm asking why, of all the references in the Bible, and there are many to justice, and there are many to reconciliation.
$5 Tucker is so obviously the propped-up champion of the Goy, a fall guy actor, who will take a dive at the appropriate time. All kosher theater.
Yeah. To think Joe Rogan and Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson and these guys are like Candace Owens are legit opposition and are actually going to help us. Like, with them leading the charge, how can it? That's the most black-pilling thing to think Tucker and Candace and Alex Jones and Joe Rogan are leading the charge. That's a hard black pill to swallow.
That is a reference to genocide, as you know, killing every man, woman, child, and infant, I'm quoting, and their animals, wiping them from the earth. And when they don't do that, they're punished. When you say that at the outset of a war, and then you wind up with massive civilian casualties, maybe not as big as they were in Iraq, then I have to ask you, what is that? And is that kind of thinking consistent with Western values and with Christianity? Do we as Christians believe it's okay to kill people's children?
No, we don't. And neither do the Israelis, because they didn't go after their children. If they'd have wanted to kill all their children, Tucker, they've got the military capacity. They could have done it in less than a day.
I've heard you say that.
I know.
I mean, I guess
so
they could have
done
them.
it.
Okay, but
why didn't they? Why didn't they?
I think there are a lot of decent people in Israel who don't want that, but I'm talking...
Do you think that the prime minister wanted to wipe out every single person in Gaza? Do you
I'm
really
asking
think that?
you what you think
Some
is
of
the
them.
U.S. representative of our government.
I don't think that that's what he wanted to do.
Did
because
you ask him? Why are you referring...
I never had to ask him that.
Why?
Because I never saw any evidence that
Dude, this concern face from
capacity. They could have done it in less than they wanted to.
I think there are a lot of decent people in Israel who don't want that.
This concern faith, watch this.
Wanted to wipe out every single person in Gaza. Do you
I'm
really
asking
think that?
you what you think is the U.S. representative of our government.
I don't think that that's what he wanted to do.
Did
because
you ask him? Why are you referring...
I never had to ask him that.
Why?
Burger_King sent $5 on Rumble. Do you see Tucker on a Martin Luther path wanting to reject Old Testament? He seems like he only has a theological difference with Zionists like the Christian anti-Semites.
No, I don't think he's going to do a Gnostic thing.
Because I never saw any evidence that Israel tried to wipe out every single person.
It played out like I thought it would. Tucker would get a couple licks in, but ultimately it would be a flop, and he would take an overall L, and it would do more harm than good. One of the W's he did get, though, is he pressured him. We'll probably play the clip here in a second. He pressured Huckabee about the promised land, the boundaries of the promised land. And he was like, yeah, like if they can, take it. So all the other Muslim countries, all their neighbors that surround them that are in the borders of Tigris to Euphrates, the biblical promised land, are all pissed. Like, what? You do want Eretz Israel? He just like confirmed greater Israel.
Very familiar with that. The Amalekites were...
Okay, we played that one. Interesting how Tucker criticizes secular Judaism but loves Chabad. Clip from January 25th. Let's see this.
Rabbi, I know a Chabad rabbi, and I said, I have Tucker Carlson on the show. It's a very important interview. It's my first show. It's very important. It's going to set the stage for this entire TV show that I have. He said, I'm actually going to send a message to the head rabbi in New York to pray on this meeting, believe it or not.
Thank you.
I know you're a religious man, aren't you, Tucker? You're a believer.
Yes, I am. And what's interesting is without getting too into it, but the Episcopal Church is very much like Reformed Judaism, very much like Reformed Judaism.
Righto.
So similar that if you go to Emmanuel in New York, or if you are very familiar with Reformed Judaism and you go to an Episcopal church, you're like, oh wait, I recognize this immediately. In fact, one was kind of based on the other, honestly. But the point is, they're both, I don't even know any enthusiastic Reformed Jews anymore. I grew up with a lot of them, and I don't know any enthusiastic Episcopalians anymore, very few. They're Chabad now. Or I think people have realized it's not worth making a sacrifice of 2 hours a week to show up in some building if there's no meaning or spiritual power there. It's like, it's just weak soup. It doesn't feed anything in you. That stuff's dying. It's going away.
1,000% why I wandered my entire life looking for a more fundamental connection to God in plain English, where I felt it. So I've got to tell you this story. It's interesting.
So Savage is a Chabadnik too? Can't say I'm shocked.
Russell was 4 years old.
Jews max.
From Hawaii.
Chabad maxing.
And I had never heard of these guys with the black hats. I used to think they were funny when I saw them. So a local rabbi who got tired of me couldn't take me anymore because he couldn't get through to me. We were talking. He said, why don't you go over to Berkeley? I walk in there. I see these guys dancing in a circle, and I feel the energy I felt in the Fiji Islands. I felt like I was in some primitive village, and I really felt that I was at home because they had a fervor. I saw the same thing
He felt at home with the Chabad in the Chabad city?
Harlem church in the 1960s with Brother Billy in an all-black church. I felt the floorboard shake when they were chanting, singing to God. And that's what's missing. I mean, if you're not chanting to God from the inside, God isn't listening. That's what I think.
I think that's right. And what's the point? I mean, why worship an idea or an abstraction unless you're worshiping a living God who created the universe? It's kind of pointless. I mean, just, go to St. Bart's and order room service. Like,
sounds good.
The fruits of the flesh. No, I'm serious. Like, what? There's no point to it. And in the end, it's hollow, and it becomes a grotesque distortion, like a lot of mainstream religion does in the end, where it's just like.
Well, he's not praising Chabad too much there. But he does prefer Orthodox Judaism. Here's another one, too. See through it all. With former Chabadnik, former Orthodox Jew, Ari Shafir, comedian, promoting Noahide.
A no-brainer.
Laws.
Don't kill.
The non-Jews have 7 laws of Noah. That's all you got to do, and you get into heaven. And they're pretty easy.
They're great.
They're pretty easy. Don't eat an animal while it's still living.
Exactly.
Should be a no-brainer.
Don't kill.
Don't kill. Harder for some people, but not others. Don't rape. Even harder for some people, but most are still on the right side of it. I forget what the other ones are.
Adultery.
Yeah. It's not that hard, and you get to go to heaven, and you'll be right alongside a rabbi.
Well, not only that, they're like very reasonable.
Yeah, they're not like hard ones to do.
No, they're all kind of rooted in natural law.
Yeah.
No, I read that, and
when you convert, they're like, "What are you doing this for? You're just gonna make it harder on yourself. You're going to heaven already."
No, that's interesting. Okay, you don't feel there's any contempt at all in that.
There becomes contempt, at the end where it's like, well, you're not in our group, so kind of fuck you. But that's not in the law. I mean, even Jesus is like, accept everyone, take them in.
Right.
But people don't really do that.
No,
not
at all.
Yeah.
So, but I do think that the Sabbath laws are, like if you're using somebody else to do something that you're not allowed to do.
Yeah. Well, I talk about the loopholes in that special where it's like you're actually not allowed to fully ask them, can you turn this light on?
Okay, there you go. He's loving the Noahide laws. Hold on.
Based, so they're good deeds and they're bad deeds, but they're all like commandments.
By implication.
God, it sure is dark in here. I'm not allowed to turn the lights on. Non-Jews are allowed. But I can't do it. It does suck. I want to read.
So he's glazing Chabad. He's promoting Noahide laws. He's doing the Khazarian not real Jew shtick. He's like, oh, we all got to be Christian and not have any racial identity. We just got to be Christian as our identity.
Yeah, it's so loopholey. It's great.
I didn't know what the Talmud was until pretty recently. I'm reading it. I actually think it's really interesting.
It's very interesting. But there's so one of the commandments, you try to do as many as you can. Some of them are big temple based, so you just can't anymore. You don't have a temple.
Not since 70 AD.
Boom.
There becomes
contempt. One, the Messiah, they say. So those laws will be back. But you try to do as many as you can. They're good deeds and they're bad deeds, but they're all like commandments. 613 of them.
Amazing.
It's nuts. When you get up the road from Tel Aviv, it's a windy road. And as soon as you get over that hill, it's a costume party. It's Fiddler on the Roof.
It's the best.
It's so weird. It's like you're living in an ancient time.
It's the most interesting place on the planet.
Oh, dude, glazing Jews so hard. So hard. Oh, speaking of also, I thought of some other names. Mike Flynn. Oh, Mike Flynn and Mike Adams from Natural News. Throw them in with the Candace Simpson, the Charlie Kirk truthers, and the Khazarian disinfo, and the typical Christian-controlled opposition, Putin shilling. Talking about it. Mike Flynn's saying it wasn't a lone wolf that killed him. Him and Joe. Imagine not realizing that like Tucker and Flynn and Alex Jones and Joe Rogan, like that's the mainstream alternative media disinfo network.
You and Amalek are great together. Awesome job dispelling rumors. Thanks for helping keep us sane.
Haha. Candace Owens missing dictionary. Happy to hear you got the book. The mailing is getting there faster than I thought. Good to hear. Appreciate it. Yeah, Amalek will be back on again soon. So Mike Flynn's another one I wanted to throw in there. Also Hodge twins, Jake Shields, that they're in the Candace kooky Christian cult, I would say. I'm pretty sure they had Flynn on also. Flynn on, just like Stu Peters and Jake Shields all had Flynn on. And
Anonymous sent $5. It might click for some Christians. The basis of our faith is a power delusion of a Middle Eastern tribal people who arbitrarily invented an authority to grant them land. Re-examines entire framework of reality.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. Reject the whole framework. Look at this. Nick on his show last night also did a debunk of the Khazar disinfo. And we'll just go to the end of it here too, what he says about all these Russia shills pushing
Of
this.
Israel, they're murdering civilians, and Netanyahu says that's Amalek. Palestine is Amalek. Well, you can see there is a genetic lineage that goes back to Israel, and there is an intellectual lineage that goes back to the Jews. So I don't like this. This is not true, and this is a deception. This is a false narrative, and I don't.
Khazar thing is a false narrative and a deception.
I don't think that's innocent. I don't think that's a mistake.
Nope.
That's not an oopsie. So we'll.
Oh, I thought he said the Russian thing too. Where's the Russian part?
Well, then he's just some white guys like harmful.
He talks about how it's blaming white people. Hold on.
Jim.
Shoot.
Now here's the second thing we have to get into.
Shoot. I thought I had the clip where he talks about the Russia connection. Look at this too. One of Candace Owens' biggest supporters and good friends, the militant Scientologist, quote-unquote Jew hater, and QAnon supporter, John Mappin, thinks we need to thank Putin for saving the children of the world from the cabal of pedophile baby-eating rapist. Scientologist, QAnon, Candace backer. See how it all ties into worshiping Putin? This is the man that began to crack the vampiric cabal of pedophile baby-eating rapist. All of their messaging is the evil satanic West. The demonic antichrist West needs to be destroyed by God. Spiritual war, holy war. Funny how all this has been happening and we're noticing and showing you all the evidence and going over all the receipts and all the Russia shills come out of the woodwork with the knives out to start attacking. Do the math. Okay, I got to look for the Nick clip of Nick talking about the Russians. Yo, looks like we're slow today. I don't think we're going to hit the goal. I guess we're not going to do a watch. Let's do the alien psyop. I want to see Joe Rogan and Tucker pushing their alien demons and linking it to Merkava mysticism, Ezekiel's chariot, wheels in the sky. That's what this psyop is. That's what this demon, fallen angels, Nephilim, Jesus smuggling psyop is all about. Why I look for the Nick clip.
U.S. servicemen have died as a result of contact with or being in the proximity of these vehicles. And we know that because there are a lot of suits working their way through the VA system.
Yeah, QAnon was always pushed by Russia disinfo as well. Operation Trust. Putin's the white hat. He's
$5 on
taking out the saving the children.
Some research on the Samaritans. They are an interesting group. They are very close to Jews in terms of DNA. They also have problematic beliefs, so say the least.
You mean like modern day Samaritans or just ancient Samaritans? It was like almost like a related to Judaism sect. They even like wanted to help build the temple and stuff. But no, I haven't done deep. I haven't found reason to do deep research into them.
Yeah.
U.S. servicemen have died as a result of contact with or being in the proximity of.
Thank you.
And we know that because there are a lot of
$5 on Rumble. Hail the Viking princesses.
Yes.
Thanks for shipping out the book.
Viking princess fun, guys. Viking princess dance fun.
suits working their way through the VA system.
Yeah.
Where families, can't get compensated for the deaths or injuries to loved ones.
Because it's all under wraps, top secret.
Well, that's just a fact, okay, that is happening. So if there's, I guess, when there are measurable physical effects of a phenomenon, we can say conclusively the phenomenon is real.
Right.
And so, yeah.
But isn't
it is real. I mean, I guess we're sort of past the point of like, is it real? Yeah, it's real.
It's real in that there's these things that are moving in very bizarre ways, and they have these propulsion systems that violate what we know about propulsion systems.
And we know that there is a real effort and has been underway for a long time to keep the public from knowing about it. But that's all known. That's established. I don't think any rational person would deny that. The question is, like, what is it actually? I mean, now is sort of the point where you have to ask, like,
just like you're not rational if you question the demons attacking him.
927 sent $20 on Rumble. I received my Amazon copy of your book today and waiting on delivery of my signed copy later this evening.
Thank you,
Super
Stacia.
excited to read and share.
I'm very excited to hear what you think. Your thoughts on it, Stacy. Appreciate you.
What is this? And so that's
how much of it do you think is ours?
Well, none of it's ours.
None of it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, clearly, the U.S. government is huge. It's the largest human organization. There are, I think there are 2 million federal employees and another 10 million federal contractors, so who are effectively government employees but don't have civil service protection, for example. So that's 12 million people in a country of 340 million working for the federal government. So it's kind of hard to overstate how big the federal government is and how well funded. And
all right,
sort of say
I
the
hate
government
this clip
this,
already.
the government that. No, of course, these objects. So no, it's not American technology.
Well,
or Russian or Chinese. It predates, all of that.
Well, some of it does, right? Like, for sure, the Kenneth Arnold sightings, that was really early on. That was like the early 1950s.
Kenneth Arnold?
These flying saucers, these discs that were moving over mountains.
Well, right. I mean, the prophet Ezekiel writes about it in the first chapter, wheels in the sky.
Yeah, that's a crazy one. Boy, when you
well,
read
it is
that,
crazy. If you read it, it's like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
And
wheel within a
and not
wheel.
just, the Hebrew scriptures, like it's all over every...
the Vedic texts.
Of course. So these are spiritual phenomenon. There's no evidence they're from another planet. I mean, I think that's the opposite.
Spiritual. It's demons and fallen angels, guys. So we all just got to pray to Jesus to save us from it's not Jews, it's Nephilim, fallen angels, Khazarian, reptilian, shape-shifting, lizard. Pagan gypsies, Babylonian sacrificing, eating babies, occultists, okay? Not Jews. We just got to believe in Yahweh to save ourselves. We all just got to believe the Bible. The Bible's real. Enoch is real. We got to just worship the Jewish God. That's the only thing we can do to save us from the aliens.
Happy Tires Day, Adam.
Thank you.
Shield made and fund for the Viking princesses.
Dude, I do actually need, for my older daughter, I bought her like a foam sword and little shield, little princess sword and shield kit. I got to get another one for the younger daughter because they loved it to fight with the swords. They're training them to be little warriors, little shield maidens. They love it. It is good fun. Rough housing with your kids is really good. Builds character and confidence.
They're from Mars. Look, space, the atmosphere is really well monitored.
Never heard of Arnold sight. Well, funny, I just looked it up right now, Arnold sightings. So what, some dude 50 years ago during Roswell craze claimed he saw some shit? Okay, I'm not impressed. People call into Coast to Coast and claim that they saw Bigfoot, every weekend.
Monitored, right? Both for defense reasons, but also because, like, it'd be nice to know when asteroids are coming. And there's has never been any evidence that there are lots of these objects, these vehicles coming into our atmosphere from somewhere else, some other.
Not even a video. He just claims he saw some things. Look at this. Oh, hold on. All right. Pilot sees saucer-like objects flying at 1,200 miles per hour in Oregon. Oh my God, dude, this is such good evidence.
14 cent $5 on Rumble. This one is for the ice cream fund.
They like ice cream. I'm never allowed to say no to ice cream, or there's going to be a tantrum. It was a dream. Yeah, it was true in his head. All right, here's the Nick clip I was looking for where he talks about the Russian.
So those are the flaws of the interview. And I see this narrative.
Shout out my favorite Groiper mom, Laundry Queen. The conduit to Nick.
So those are the flaws of the interview. And I see this narrative being promoted. Don't be deceived by this. Don't be deceived. They do it with Epstein. They do it with Netanyahu. They want to say Epstein wasn't really Jewish. He's a vampire, cannibal, Khazarian. Netanyahu's Polish. He's a dude from Poland. What is that? That's not true. And I think it's a very deceptive narrative. I wonder who's really behind that because it's being promoted. It's being promoted by Alexander Dugin. It's being promoted by Candace Owens.
Alex Jones and InfoWars.
Tucker Carlson, Ian Carroll, Ron Unz.
Stu Peters.
I don't like it. And it seems very Russian.
Yep.
That's my feeling. It seems very Russian.
Nick is exposing Russia Dugin disinfo networks and you're blackpilling?
It's like...
Hey, remember when I was critical of Nick for shilling Trump? He's admitted I was right. Trump is an op, Zionist puppet. And while he was shilling Dugin in Multipolar World and the rise of Russia and China, I was calling him out, and look at where he's at now.
The Orthodox Jews like that little narrative.
Mm-hmm. He's totally watching. He might be.
Americans.
He's definitely seeing some clips. Amalek is knows Groiper and Groiper group chats. Basil was sharing the clips. This Laundry Queen, he's definitely seeing it. He's definitely seeing. I mean, it's how could you not see it? It's pretty blatant. If you're tapped in and you're paying attention to the scene, it's pretty obvious.
Need to get hip. Okay, we need to get wise. Figure out.
Why are we listening to Nick, the Jew? Zornder Edom, are you seething that Nick is also noticing all this Russian disinfo, all this kosher disinfo conspiracies? And I heard that the gold deal fell through also.
What the real situation is, but
Zornder Edom, all the Russia shills are seething now that we're noticing that we can read Dugin, that we can follow Dugin and RT's tweets, and we can see all the normal Russia shills are all doing the Khazar, the kooky disinfo, the Candace Charlie Kirk stuff. Yeah. We can see. The Goyim know. Sorry, Zornder Edom, the Goyim know.
That's that.
That's that. Okay, we got some alien stuff. Look at this. Russia, speaking of, Russia news, 344,000. This is a Russia bot account. This is an FSB account. Let's get real. It says they're sharing this stupid
saliva
fake video of taking the saliva, sending it to the lizard, sending it to 23andMe, and then it says Ashkenazi Jew. Okay, the obviously fake hoax video. The Russia bot account is boosting the Jews aren't Jews bullshit. What else do you need to see?
See what would happen.
5,000 likes.
If I sent my pet. I wanted to see what would happen if I sent my pet lizard DNA into 23andMe. And so with the help of my wife, we extracted enough saliva to send off in the mail. We were so excited to see the results. After about 3 months, we were shocked. My lizard was 51% Ashkenazi Jewish. He was also 48% West Asian. This was really interesting. They also gave us a little bit of his background and his history, what he liked to eat, etc. Let us know which animal's DNA we should send in next.
Millions of mouth breathers see videos like this, and this is how their worldviews are shaped. By stupid meme hoax videos, believing everything they see on the internet. Trash. Okay, let's see. Oh, wow, 2 hours in. Didn't even get to watch any of this stuff. Nowhere near the goal. Over 500 people watching. And nobody has anything to say. Yeah, Nick's got to see the clips of us talking about Russia stuff. Also, I know he follows Spencer. Spencer's been talking Russia connection stuff. Same with Chuck Johnson also. So there's diffusion. Me and Nick have each other blocked for a long time, but there's diffusion of ideas percolating, in the zeitgeist. And when he gets it right, we're going to point out, especially like when I'm getting attacked and slandered by groypers all the time, when I'm saying the same shit that Nick ends up saying. Why was he interrogated in Israel? Let's start there.
An interview we did with U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, 2 days ago in Israel. In general, it's never worth talking about the backstory behind an interview. It's kind of not the point. It makes it about the interviewer, not the person being interviewed. For one thing. For another, it's not that interesting most of the time. And for another, it's kind of off the record. The other person hasn't consented to you telling the story. So in general, we don't do that. Who'd want to hear that? Let the interview speak for itself. But in this case, we want to tell you just a few things about how this interview came about, because they are pretty interesting, revealing, and now weirdly relevant, apparently. So this interview with Mike Huckabee came about a couple of weeks ago on Twitter. One of our producers showed me. He said something to the effect of, "You're talking to Middle Eastern Christians, Tucker Carlson. Maybe you should talk to me. Why don't you come do an interview?" And I paused for a minute. I've thought in the past about trying to interview Mike Huckabee, whom I've known for over 30 years and worked adjacent to at Fox. And I had mixed feelings about it, mostly because it's hard if you're me to interview Mike Huckabee because of just the personal affect. Mike Huckabee is jovial, comes off as friendly. He's a grandfather. When annoyed, I can be nasty.
He's not friendly. He just comes off as friendly.
It takes a lot of self-control to interview someone like Mike Huckabee, not because I hate him, but because it's hard to ask him tough questions and not come off as a jerk, which I often am. So, but I thought in this case, yeah, I should definitely do this for a bunch of different reasons. Mainly, the United States is moving toward a big war, a real war with Iran, a regime change war.
Oh my God, I'm already
the biggest
hating
war
this.
we've had since the invasion of Iraq.
Okay, we're skipping to Jonathan Pollard. Let's do that.
Thank you very much for having us, for inviting me. I was grateful to be invited.
Oh, thank you.
I was grateful because I don't like all the name calling. I've engaged in some of it. I want to apologize for that. In general, I don't think people should be going immediately to motive, calling each other Nazis or anti-Semites. I said I hate the Christian Zionists. I lost control of myself. Of course, I don't. I've apologized for that. I have problems with my anger, and so I just want to apologize to you since you are a Christian Zionist.
You and I have known each other for over 30 years.
Over 30 years. That is
sent $5 on Rumble. Hey, Adam. Do you think the whole kosher anti-Semitism scene is going to fall apart soon? I think that it will be seen as too goofy eventually and seen as a fad.
It's a good question. It's going to be a big build-up, crescendo, and then they're going to pull the rug, and then there's going to be some attack, and they're just going to shut it all down at once. They're just going to flip the switch, the Made in Israel kill switch on the internet, and all the advanced AI, Palantir, thought police is going to be unleashed, stricter than ever. That could be that. Or they could just keep this trash around forever so they always have cover. So people are never actually getting to the bottom of the rabbit hole. I don't know.
Totally true. Back when you were in Little Rock. So
yes, I was at the newspaper.
It's why I wanted us to have a conversation, talk to each other and not about each other. And I appreciate very much your coming here to.
Of course. And I'm only staying a couple hours, unfortunately, because I kind of shoehorned this in, but I hope that I'll be back soon. And I hope that I can come back soon because I actually like, despite what you may hear, I actually like the country. I've been here a lot. And there are a lot of things I love about it. And I want to talk to people in it for like a week.
Good.
And get a better sense of it. So I want to ask you, everyone I've talked to in preparation for this has said the same thing. Jonathan Pollard? I'm just going to throw the name to you and have you explain.
No, I'm glad you asked. Interestingly, there's been a lot of things about it. You're the first person who has asked me about it, which I find amazing. So I'm glad you did.
Really?
Yeah, the very first person.
Well, it's better to hear it.
Sure. I met Jonathan Pollard 2 times. Once I was making a speech in Jerusalem. This has been a few years ago. His wife was still alive at the time, and he was there. And someone introduced me to him and his wife. I said hello to them. That was it. Hi. Nice to meet Esther, his wife, and that was it. I went and made my speech, and I left. Later, his wife passed away here in Israel, and I sent him a note and just said, I'm sorry to hear about your wife. I remember meeting her at the hotel, and sorry to hear it. He then asked, could he come and see me? He wanted to come and thank me for being kind to him. He came to the embassy. I think we met for maybe 30 minutes. We had a nice, pleasant visit. The funny thing was the New York Times reported that it was a secret meeting. Tucker, if you've ever been to the U.S. Embassy, you would know there's no such thing as a secret meeting at the U.S. Embassy.
Sure.
There are cameras everywhere. You walk through Marines, you walk through security, you walk through the front office, and there's a dozen or more people that are going to check you out when you come. And before you get there, you're going to have to give us your passport information. You're going to have to be vetted and screened and all of this stuff. So the idea that it was secret was ludicrous. The whole idea is, look, Jonathan Pollard did something that was terribly wrong. He sold secrets. He shouldn't have done it. He was sentenced to 30 years in prison and spent 30, actually I think he was sentenced to maybe more than 30 years, but he spent 30 years in prison. Most people convicted of something similar, which was one count, I believe, would have spent 2 to 4, but he spent 30. I don't have a problem with him spending 30 because I think what he did was despicable. I'm not defending anything about what he did. But even people like the former director of the CIA, a number of other senators on the Senate Foreign Relations of the Senate Intel Committee said that he should be allowed to leave and move to Israel if he wanted to. So it, to me, was not as big a deal that I had this basically courtesy meeting. He wanted to thank me for being nice to him when his wife died. That's pretty much the story.
You advocated for his release when you ran for, I remember it, in 2011, long before he had served 30 years. And I agree with you that there are a lot of people languishing in prison, in our country and in this country, many countries, for longer periods than they deserve. And I think it's a Christian impulse to want to see them free. But
oh my God.
The greatest traitor in modern American history who sold our battle plans against the Soviet Union, our main enemy in the Cold
Maybe I should have just stuck to clips.
War to the Israeli government.
So slow.
Reagan CIA director.
All the best parts were clipped up already?
He then gave them to the Soviet Union. So this was the most profound betrayal of the United States in my lifetime. Why advocate for that guy's release before he serves his full sentence?
If that were the case in 2011, it would have been because I had a number of friends that suggested that he had more than served time and he didn't want to live in the U.S. anymore. He wanted to live in Israel. And but my association with him, again, I had never met him until I met him in Jerusalem at a hotel. That was the first time I had ever encountered him.
I'm friends with a million bad people, or I've talked to a million bad people.
I'm sitting here with you.
I mean, Jesus ain't with tax collectors, so trust me, do not judge people who are friends or know or enjoy the company of immoral people because it's not an endorsement of their immoral behavior. Pollard is different, I think, once you become U.S. ambassador, the representative of the President of the United States in the United States of America in a foreign country, and then you invite not only the most damaging betrayer in our lifetimes, but also a guy who continues to advocate for betrayal. So he gave an interview, as I know you know, in 2021 to Israeli media in which he said, I would encourage Jewish Americans with security clearances to spy for Mossad against their own country, the United States, because, and I'm pretty much quoting him, all Jews should have dual loyalty. That's not repentance. That's not someone who feels bad about what he did. That's someone who's encouraging American Jews to betray their country. That's pretty heavy, don't you think?
Oh, I do. And I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I think, let's remember, it was President Trump who probably facilitated his departure. And I'm certainly supportive of President Trump. I think you are. And
Pollard's not. He called him a madman after your meeting.
That's why I say Pollard.
Oh, I just thought of another big RT Russia guy that says the Khazarian thing. Ken O'Keefe. He's doing the synagogue of Satan. They're Khazarians. They're not real Jews. They're imposters. And where did he get famous? On all of his RT rants.
Is not, for me, the real issue. It was the fact that he...
Yeah, Mike Adams, total crank.
Of course he did. And he paid dearly for it, 30 years in prison, and he should have. That's what he should have done. There's no question about
But
that.
why meet with him in the U.S. Embassy? Your colleagues said they were shocked. They said...
Who were the colleagues that said
Thank
they were
you,
shocked?
John. There's John.
/shekels your way. Did you show that Julon clip about Alex Jones, or I missed it?
No, not yet. I'll probably play that at the end of the show tomorrow or another day. We're already 2 hours in, and I'm going to do all this stuff still. But that was hilarious. He's a flat earther, too? Ken O'Keefe is a flat earther? Yeah.
Background in the New York Times. I think the meeting was in August. This would all be fake. That's why I'm asking you.
Well, the same New York Times said it was a secret meeting. And I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a secret meeting in the U.S. Embassy.
Do you see why the U.S. ambassador hosting a convicted betrayer of his own country who's encouraging Americans to continue to betray their country would seem shocking?
Well, I would say that it wasn't that you make it sound like I'm hosting a meeting. I simply met with him. I meet with people all the time.
Some of them just walk in without a...
No, they have to have an appointment. Of course they do.
Oh, so it is hosting him then, I think.
Well, I don't know if it was hosting, but it was certainly, he was able to come to the U.S. Embassy.
Any meeting with somebody is hosting. That means you hosted Nick Fuentes, I guess.
Completely different religion from...
Let's hear this one of...
People who are the real threat.
From Laundry Queen. What does he say about Chabad here?
People who are the real threat. And the real threat are not religious people. I don't have anything. Orthodox Jews have a completely different religion from mine.
Oh, Orthodox Jews, no threats. Chabad Lubavitch, no threats. Funny. Oh, no, why does Adam keep attacking Tucker? Tucker's so super based and anti-Semitic. Come on. What does he actually say? Oh, the Orthodox Jews are great. They're wonderful. Oh, Noahide laws, those are awesome. It's those Khazarian Baal worshippers.
Well, I don't have anything. Orthodox Jews have a completely different religion from mine. They're reading the Talmud all day. I'm not even sure what's in there. I'm not against Orthodox Jews. I've always gotten along with them.
Yeah.
I'm not against Orthodox Muslims at all. Always gotten along with them. I don't think the threat to me, from my perspective, they're not the ones running OnlyFans. They're not the ones selling meth. They're not the ones destroying my country. They're also not the ones shooting people, by and large. They are being watched by the God they believe in. Now, it's not my God in a lot of cases, but I feel like the threat is people who think they're God, clearly.
No, it is. If you believe the God in the Bible, you do worship their God. That's the God they believe in.
I don't really know any. You think Ilhan Omar is like a faithful Muslim? No, she's a white liberal, actually. That is the category that really worries me. Those are the most extreme, crazy, the people without God are really terrifying.
The non-Noahides. All the Christian Muslims and Orthodox Jews, they're all based in God-fearers. They all worship Yahweh. Oh, it's the non-believers that are the problem.
Secular people. They're the ones who committed the biggest genocides in world history. It wasn't religious fanatics.
Oh, come on. Yeah, no genocides by religious fanatics ever. Come on, dude. Oh, you got this from See Through It All, huh?
The real threat.
Thanks for the shout out, Laundry Queen, from the Christian too. She has to do the disclaimer. We disagree on faith. See, this is why they normally they won't do this. They'll just steal the clip.
And the real threat or not.
No problem with Orthodox Jews. Oh, okay.
To have a meeting at his request. I did. And frankly, I don't regret it. I met with a lot of people over the course of the time I've been here, and we'll meet with a lot more. That's it.
So if you spend the evening at my house, you are guaranteed to find yourself in a conversation about the Hallow app.
Hallow? Isn't it Halo? Hallow? I learned this prayer app was funded by Peter Thiel. Yo, your pray to the Jewish King prayer app, brought to you by Palantir and Tucker Carlson.
It's about it this morning. It is the best prayer app
and Russell
ever.
Brand.
This Lent, Hallow's Pray 40 Challenge invites users to step out of the noise
Hallow.
of everyday life.
Is it Hallow or Halo, guys? I thought it was Halo the whole time. Like a halo that the angels wear. Come on.
Life and dive into something much
Hallow.
deeper. The parable of the prodigal son. It's a story about a man who leaves home, wastes everything, hits rock bottom, and then realizes something transformative. God. He can go back. And when he does go back, he's not punished.
The Jesus shilling. The Jesus shilling, dude. Take my shekels. All right. Is Israel current state? Are they the same Israel?
I want to get to as I said at the outset, I said something awful that I regret.
Hallowed?
That my wife barked at me about. I lashed out at Christian Zionists and evangelicals, and I just want to say again that I'm sorry.
Hallowed be thy name. Oh, I get it. That's what it is. That's crazy.
Because they're pro-life and they're also really nice people. So for the third time, I'm sorry that I said that. I think
my Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Theology, and you are not a fake Baptist minister. You're an actual minister. You had a church for many years. You're an actual theologian. So, and I mean this with sincerity. I hear people say, those who bless Israel will be blessed. I know it's a reference to Genesis. I don't understand the connection between that concept and modern Israel and the geopolitical world. And so I'm going to stand back and ask
let's first define, because, from my days as a debater in high school and college, one of the things I knew, you didn't start the debate till you defined the terms.
Amen.
Let's define the terms.
Thank you.
What is a Christian Zionist? What does that mean to you? What does it mean?
I don't know. It's the people who call me a Nazi for asking what Israel means. I mean, that's kind of I don't even know.
But here's the point. If you say a Christian Zionist is a person who has...
Hallow means to bless, consecrate, or render as holy through religious rites.
Brain virus and is guilty of heresy.
That's what I got to play?
I know. I shouldn't have made it. I made it out of anger and ignorance.
I've been calling it the Halo app forever. Hallow. Gosh, dude. I can't believe you guys...
Way off.
Way off. Way off.
Way off.
Perfect soundbite for that.
So, and I'm Christian, I think we can agree, as somebody who follows Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
Has a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, believes in his death, burial, resurrection, has repented of one's sins, and have accepted him as one Savior. Would that be fair?
Amen.
Christian. Define that. Zionist. A Zionist simply means a person who believes that the Jewish people have a right to have a homeland where they have security and safety. Did you believe that the Jews have a right to live in Israel? Do you believe that Jews have a right to live in Israel? That would be a Zionist. That's all a Zionist is.
I have a million questions about what all of those terms mean.
Yeah.
But conceptually, I wish Israel no harm. I don't want to see them
You want them to have a place where they can live with safety and security?
Grills him a couple times. Good choice. Keep crushing.
Thank you, Anonymous. Yeah, I know he does get him on a few, especially the boundaries of the Promised Land. I think that was probably, and comparing like rights of Europeans being replaced in their homeland too. I think he gets him on that.
So I saw this recently in an extremely telling exchange between the lieutenant governor of Texas, who I know and I've always liked, and a woman I don't know, never met, who's on the Religious Liberty Commission or something. And she said, I'm a Catholic, but I'm not a Zionist. And they have this ferocious exchange. And he kept saying, and everyone on the panel seemed to keep saying, you have to believe in Israel's right to exist. Which I've never kind of questioned, just for the record, but it did raise two questions I think are really important, and I hope you'll answer them. One is, where does that right come from?
I would say it comes from, essentially, you could say it comes from the Bible. I would say that it does. But it comes also from a long iteration of historical precedents going to the Balfour Declaration of 1917. It comes from the League of Nations, 1927. It comes from the United Nations, 1947.
Right.
The Declaration of Independence of the Israel State in May of 1948. They were immediately attacked. They won the war. They were attacked again in 1956. They won the war. They were attacked again in 1967 by 5 countries. They won the war. They were attacked again in 1973 in the Yom Kippur War. They won the war. The point is, does Israel have a right?
This is so funny. I just saw Jackson Hinkle challenge Fuentes to a fight in his ancestral homeland of Mexico. Look at this boxing promo video. Dude, that's so funny. Hinkle versus Fuentes, homeland of Nick Fuentes, Mexico City. Dude, that is so funny.
Right to exist. They also had wars in 1982 in Lebanon. They've had intifadas, 2 of those. They've had
Lebanon
war
again in 06. I was there. No, I'm
if they debated, Nick would probably shred
the
him.
modern history of the state.
Okay.
Pretty familiar, I think. And I've been
But a
here.
Zionist simply means somebody who believes that Israel has a right to exist. Now, the question is, do you believe Israel has a right to exist?
Yes. I mean, I want Israel
Yes.
to exist. Well, no, but I want to know what that means. So, like, do other countries have a right to?
I saw Nick talking about this. The framing of arguing about if Israel has a right to exist is bullshit and should be avoided. It's a trap. It's like a rhetorical trap. Debating on what it means, what he gets sucked into here, debating what it means to if somebody has the right to exist. They're trying to get you to say, like, any criticism at all, any opposition, anything they do, framing it as not allowing them to exist, like you're genociding.
To exist?
Well,
yeah, Hinkle should have had the Russia flag instead of the American flag on there, right? That would have been more accurate.
Do exist.
Do they have a right to exist? You keep saying Israel has a right to exist, and I want to know what other countries
They have a
right.
legal right, because every international body in the last 100 years has said the Jewish people have a right
I understand
to their
you
indigenous
explained it, but
homeland.
my question
So that's a
is,
legal right.
What
Do
other?
they have a biblical right? I would say that yes, but you may say they don't.
I don't know. I'm actually
Okay.
sincerely interested in finding out what you mean by a biblical right. But first, to the legal right, does any other country on the planet have the same right that Israel has to exist?
Well, you could say, does Jordan have a right to exist? When it was Transjordan and the Brits came and divided up the Middle East, and they gave some land to Jordanians, and they gave some land to the Saudis, and they gave some land.
See, now we're debating what it means to have a right to
all
exist.
Carved up, and the French gave Lebanon its right.
Hey,
to
here's the
exist.
question:
Do they have a?
Does Palestine have a right to exist? Or did God give the Jews the land so they don't? That should be the flip.
Right to exist?
Do they?
Well, why not?
Okay. So that's my. So
Yeah.
every
Does
country.
the U.S. have a right to exist?
I'm asking you.
Okay, and I'm telling you, I think the U.S. has a right to exist.
Okay.
We came here. We came there. We're in Israel now talking. But does the U.S. have a right to exist? Does anyone question whether we have a right to exist?
I don't. Yeah, but I, of course, I'm for America. You know.
Good for you.
But so every current country on the map has the same right to exist that Israel has. Is that what you're saying?
I think what we're saying is that when a country has established itself and it is following international law, it has been deemed by numerous bodies that it is indigenous to its homeland, as Israel is. This is its homeland. It goes back 3,800 years to the time of Abraham.
Dude, once we crack the case of the imposter Khazar Jews, then they're gonna have no right to exist because they won't be the people of the Bible anymore. Then God's real estate deal will be invalid, null and void.
Not that
hold on. Now I'm
the
getting
Jewish people just showed up here in 1948 and said, we're going to have some land.
Hold on.
here."
So those are two different tracks, and I just want to make sure that we separate them so I understand each one separately.
All right.
So you're saying there's the modern legal framework, and so you said a country that abides by international law has a right to exist.
I would say that is a part of its existence.
Would the inverse be true that a country that does not abide by international law forfeits its right to exist?
Not necessarily if it has the capacity to stay and make its case known. But there have been Jewish people in this land,
okay, but that's
in
a
this
separate-
very land, for 3,800 years.
Okay. So, but you're saying as the modern nation state with borders and a military and a Knesset and just all the kind of trappings of a modern country, all of which I support, that country every country on the planet has the same right as Israel to exist because it does exist. Is that what you're saying? I'm just trying to understand the concept here.
Well, I think what we're trying to get to is Christian Zionism, and you've taken this way off the road
I don't
here.
know that I have. I don't mean to. Christian Zionism is a separate thing, but I just keep hearing people say Zionism is the belief
But that's the fundamental argument that's going on. Does Israel have a right to live in their indigenous, ancient, historical land?
Is that even the argument?
Affirmed.
Hold on. Are we running around? Am I doing shows every day like Israel has no right to exist? No rights. They got to live in America and Europe. They can't go back to where they used to be a long time ago before they got kicked out by the Romans. No, 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 no. Is that even the argument? I don't know that it is. Not an argument I hear a lot. It's, hey, no more illegal settlements. It's, hey, allow a two-state solution. It's, hey, stop the blockade and the occupation of Gaza. It's those things. It's not, you have no right to exist. Am I right?
Throughout international organizations.
That's why it's a stupid argument to
direct ties to the
get
Jewish
into.
people.
I just want to know if this is a universal principle. I guess that's what I'm getting at, because if it's not, then it's meaningless to me, because as a Christian, I believe in universal principles. Something is right for everyone or it's wrong for everyone. We don't believe in special cases.
Here's a question. If Judaism never existed and the Torah never existed, but there were a people known as Jews that lived in that area that had their village destroyed and the Romans kicked them out and they were not welcomed around the world, would they have a right to create a state in Israel and call it something else in Middle Eastern Landia, not even Israel? Yeah, they'll say it's a biblical right, if anything. But how about we completely take the religious aspect out of it, which is obvious. We should, because it's obviously stupid that God gave them, promised them the land and told them that they could go and slaughter all the nations there and take it for themselves.
The question, if the Jews didn't have this land, would the Jews have a right to any land?
I don't know. I'm not attacking the Jews. I'm asking if this applies to every people and every nation. Does every nation have the same right to its own homeland, to its own physical land?
But what other people around the world are in a nation that want to go back to their ancient place that they got kicked out of, like, altogether? I can't think of any other example like that.
And that you say Israel does.
I feel like we're in a rabbit hole here.
No, I think it's a very straightforward question.
No, but
does that right?
Wilhelm Mate sent $5 on Rumble.
Thank you, Wilhelm.
They usually strawman their opponents, so they don't have to address concerns, and they don't seem to care if they are being disingenuous.
Yeah, it is a straw man. Like, you don't think they have a right to exist.
Birder_Kang sent $5 on Rumble. I know Israel accepts DNA test for illegal immigration. But do Khazar theory people actually believe DNA tests will be given? Mizrahi, Sephardics will just say okay, Ashkenazis go to Europe? WTF.
No, I don't think they're going to say that. But you're right. It's a good point. That's a good one, Beowulf. Do the Cherokee have a right to take back North Carolina? No, I don't think so. We took it, we settled it, we built it, fair and square.
Caden13 sent $5 on Rumble. It would be like gypsies.
They were compensated.
To India and forming their own ethno-state by force.
Gypsies in India? Okay, maybe another example.
Right extend to other countries other than Israel.
But the most important thing that is going on in our culture right now is whether or not the people that are yelling in the streets from the river to the sea, whether that's a legitimate point of view to say that there should not be a Jewish homeland. There should not be a Jewish state.
You'll never hear me say
period.
that. I just want to know.
I know you haven't said it, but that's the argument.
It's one of the arguments going on globally. And the United States, excuse me, has a pretty narrow view, I would say, in our media culture of what's happening around the world. There are plenty of countries having this debate. Stonehenge is a lot older than the first temple.
Yeah, I support gypsies going back to India, too. That's a good idea. I'm what's the equivalent of Zionism for gypsies? Gypsyism? Good call. Then maybe they won't be LARPing as Nazis, scamming people with meme coins on the internet and while shilling their favorite Jewish rabbi.
and it was built by the same people who live there now. It's the same people, and they are being pushed off their island and outnumbered by people from other places. And so in Great Britain, in Ireland, which is also a country with a nation of people, a race, if you will, that is being displaced, replaced.
Who are they being replaced by?
Immigrants.
Okay.
From other places.
I just wanted to clarify because I was one of the...
Well, just as a demographic matter, it's just like you can look at the numbers. It's not controversial. Just look at the numbers. There'll be a minority in their country. And their people have been there longer than Jews have been in Israel. Yeah. And so they're having this debate too. That's all I'm saying. And lots of places are having this debate.
Sure.
So does that principle apply to everyone, or is it specific just to Israel?
I think it applies specifically.
Yeah, Europeans have a right to exist in Europe. Yes.
To Israel, it applies to anyone who can prove that they have some connection to the land and connection to the history and connection to international law. But Israel, I think, does have an extraordinary
international law. So if again,
well, no, but let me finish.
Yeah, Jews don't care about international law. Only when it rules in their favor do they acknowledge international law.
Here's the point. We're talking about Christian Zionism. The idea that as a Christian, I believe in both the Old and the New Testament. Why wouldn't I? I'm a person of the book. There are 80 million evangelical Christians in the United States. What makes us who we are is our adherence to the Scripture, our belief that the Bible, all of it, not part of it, but all of it, is the Word of the living God.
Yeah.
So if I believe in the Old and the New Testament, I do believe that there is a very specific call to the Jewish people that started with Abraham, and he called them out of what is now modern-day Iraq, said, "Come where I send you." He came. This is the land. Genesis 12:3. He says, "I will bless those who bless you, curse those who curse you." In Genesis 17, he looks out at the world. He says, "Look, and this is where I'm giving you the land."
I think
and
it's
since that time, there have been people living in this land, connected to that moment of history. So there is a historical connection that is unbroken.
You've said that, and I want to ask you what that means a little more specifically, if that's okay. But first, let me just say that you could say the same thing of Britons who've been there in their land longer.
Is anybody trying to tell the Brits they can't live there anymore?
No, what's happening is...
But they are saying that to the Jews.
Oh, okay. But I just wonder if you would extend the same sympathy or the same principle. You don't. You seem like this is... You think I'm trying to trap you?
Dude, they're not even talking about the core issue here. The point is taking it illegally by force by the people that were living there, the Nakba. That's the issue. Nobody gives a shit if the Jews want to leave Europe and go build up the desert, a barren desert somewhere in their ancient homeland. That wouldn't be the issue. It's that how they took it from the Palestinians. That's the point.
I'm not. I'm at all trying to trap you. It'd be as simple as saying native Britons have the same...
I got no problem with the native Brits having
promised land or no promised land.
My point is, I don't know that there is a biblical connection for the Brits.
Okay.
But I would say,
so that's what it comes down to.
Take that off the table. And I think there's still a...
Yeah, they don't have a biblical connection, but they got ancient... I'm sure they got ancient writings about them being in the area just because they didn't make up that God gave it to them.
Valhalla or Bust sent $5 on Rumble. Why are the Jews the only people who have a right to their own ethno-state?
They're not. China has a right to... Everybody has a right to their ethno-state, but besides it's challenged amongst European peoples. He just said, though, he doesn't care about... He's fine with England being for England having a right to exist.
For the Jews having this little bitty strip of real estate.
I'm not even arguing with you. I'm just trying to, at all. I'm just trying to understand what it is that you're saying.
It's not at all.
It's not obvious to me, and maybe it's an IQ problem, but I'm having trouble understanding this. But let me just go back to just clarify one thing.
Okay.
You've brought up international law at least twice, maybe three times, as a basis for Israel's legitimacy. If Israel was out of compliance with international law, whatever that is, would it be less legitimate?
Yes.
Depends on if the law and the way it's applied is legitimate. There are some applications of so-called international law that are
depends on if they can get away with it or not.
I agree.
Utterly ridiculous. One of the reasons I'm so grateful President Trump and Secretary Rubio are pushing hard.
Like, would I be seething if blacks wanted to leave all of Europe and go back to Africa and create a Wakanda Zionism? Would we get mad about that? Would I say, no, they don't have a right to exist in Wakanda?
Garrett sent $10 Viking Princess.
Yeah, they do.
Right to exist, to eat ice cream, and to dance.
Yeah, that's their God-given right to eat ice cream and dance and be shield maidens in the making.
Trying to get rid of the ICC and the ICJ is because they have become rogue organizations that are no longer really about an equal application of law and justice.
I don't know enough about it to say if that's true or not.
Are we pro-Wakandaism?
But I'm interested that you yourself appealed to international law as a basis of Israel's
Well, what I'm looking
legitimacy.
at is the whole of the last 100 years.
The Balfour Declaration is not exactly international law, by the way. It was a letter, I think.
He's not talking about that, you stupid idiot. He's talking about, although they like to cite that, he's talking about the UN acknowledging it or America acknowledging Israel right away.
It was maybe not law, but it was a declaration. It was
they were the empire at the time,
and a declaration that was done by Lord Balfour in Great Britain. At that time, this land was under the British mandate, and he said the Jews should have the land that was theirs from 3,800 years ago. It was simple as that.
Right. And I'm not debating that. I'm just... It was not international law. It was a colonial power.
Wakanda forever.
Divide up the world
law under the League of Nations, under the United Nations, and then because of the victories that Israel had against
I'm anti-Wakandian.
And it wasn't just that they were trying to take a little piece of their land.
Hey, you know what? The real conspiracy? The blacks aren't even really black. They're not even really the real people of Wakanda. That's the real issue. They're imposters using Wakanda as a shield. They're imposter white Europeans pretending to be from Wakanda. That's what's the real issue here.
And they tried to annihilate them. Okay. And there is still to this day the shouts of from the river to the sea. And Tucker, that means only one thing, not the shrinking of Israel, but the annihilation of Israel.
I don't think
that's different.
I don't think you can say that you know what it means, actually, because you don't know what's in people's hearts. So why don't we just deal with the facts? Maybe some people mean it.
I know it's in their mouths. I know it's in their minds.
But I'm not, look, you'll never hear me say that. What you will hear me say is I'm confused by what the definitions are. So let's
Dude, maybe the clips were the only good parts of this.
Says it's Abram, it's pre-Abraham, it's Abram, receives from God.
It's Avram, actually, like Donald Trump says. All his Jewish friends say it's Avram. Sounds cooler like that, Avram.
The news that his descendants will inherit the land, and you tell me as the theologian if I'm getting this wrong, but from the Euphrates to the Nile. I think that's right.
Yeah, that's a good point. Israel really gives the right to exist. If it weren't for America, they might not exist.
Kang sent $5 on Rumble. Huckabee doesn't have to just say might is right.
He does actually say that.
Argument, but he can't admit the world consensus after World War II. Israel has been violating.
No, he does say might is right argument at one point, but then he kind of tries to like walk it back like he said something wrong. He says if they can keep it or something like that.
And that would include
8 shekels to the goal? No, that's 48 shekels to the goal. Unless that didn't add up right.
Basically the entire Middle East. That would be the Levant, so that would be Israel, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon. It would also be big parts of Saudi Arabia and Iraq. It would be, I'm
not sure it would go that far. I mean, it would be a big piece of land, but here's the point.
It would be a lot of places that are now countries.
But this particular area that we're talking about now, Israel, is a land that God gave through Abraham to a people that he chose. It was a people, a place, and a purpose. We can look at it that way. Christian Zionism, I want to go back because that's where we started.
I'm not going to let you off on this because you have said it 3 times that God gave this land to this people. And so it is entirely fair for me with respect to ask, what land are you talking about? Because I just read Genesis 15, as I have many times. And that land, I think it says, from the Nile to the Euphrates, which is
river of Egypt to the Euphrates.
Once again, basically the entire Middle East. So God gave that land to his people, the Jews, or he didn't. You're saying he
didn't. He didn't. It's fake. They made it up. God doesn't give real estate to people. Why are we starting on this false premise, false foundational premise that the magical book is real? It's like you've already lost. When you grant that, you've already like conceded the fight, the game.
What is that?
You lost before you even laced up your boots. when you grant that they really did God really did give them the land.
Does Israel have the right to that land? Because you're appealing to Genesis. Yeah. You're saying that's the original deed.
Does the lion have a right to eat a baby zebra? Tucker, how about that one?
Fine if they took it all. But I don't think that's what we're talking about here today.
What would be fine? Well, it's exactly what we're talking about today.
Wow, that's why he got in trouble.
You think it would be fine if the state of Israel...
It'd be fine if they took it all. God gave it to them. There's the Christ brain. There's the Zionist. Stereotyping Jews is terrible. Why? Who stereotyped? We didn't stereotype.
Stereotyping Jews is terrible.
We would never.
Took over all.
They don't want to take it over.
Trees.
But this particular area that we're talking about now, Israel, is a land that God gave through Abraham to a people that he chose. It was a people, a place, and a purpose.
Zebras have no right to exist. Yahweh said so.
That's where we started.
I'm not going to let you off on this because you have said it 3 times that God gave this land to this people. And so it is entirely fair for me with respect to ask, what land are you talking about? Because I just read Genesis 15, as I have many times. And that land, I think it says, from the Nile to the Euphrates, which is, once again, basically the entire Middle East. So God gave that land to his people, the Jews, or he didn't. You're saying
zebras are demons. Zebras are sacrificing their babies.
Does Israel have the right?
They have the right to
land
genocide
you're
them.
Appealing to Genesis. Yeah. You're saying that's the original deed.
It would be fine if they took it all. But
Whoa!
I don't think that's what we're talking about here today.
Mask off. Whoa. That dude, what a slip up. That's why he's being condemned by all the Muslim nations. Wow. It'd be fine if they took it all. God said so. I read it in a book. The book says it'd be fine if the Jews conquered all the Goyim.
I read about it in a book.
Zebras were eating baby jerky, so the lion had a right to eat their babies. Very true.
Exactly what we're talking about today.
But here's what I don't think
you think it would be fine if the state of Israel took over all of Jordan?
They don't want to take it over. They're not asking to take it over.
But you're saying that the reason that Israel is legitimate, has this inherent right to exist, is in part because God gave it to his people. And I am going to the same Bible that you're referring to and noticing that that is a huge piece of land. So if God gave them that land, then they have a right to take it now by your definition, unless I'm missing something completely.
Well, I think you're missing something because they're not asking to go back to take all of that, but they are asking to at least take the land that they now occupy, they now live in, they now own legitimately.
What about Judea and Samaria? They want that.
Safe haven for them.
Well, but may I ask, though, as speaking...
Kangaroos worship Satan.
You're explaining what Christian Zionism is and your theological
Zebras worship Baal.
And you think you just said it would be fine with you if the state of Israel took all of Jordan, all of Syria, all of Lebanon.
That's really not exactly what I'm trying to say.
In due time.
I thought that's what you just said.
It was somewhat of a hyperbolic statement in that, if that's what you feel like that we're talking about, but it isn't.
Hyperbolic, according to Candace.
That Israel, the state of Israel, now lives in and wants to have peace in. They're not trying to take over Jordan. They're not trying to take over
Burger Kings
on Rumble. The theological argument playing in their Matrix debunk would be that Nile to Euphrates were to Abraham descendants. If Jews believe Ishmael are Arabs, then it would be fulfilled.
What? Hold on. What was that last part? If Jews believed Ishmael are Arabs, then it would be fulfilled. Nile to Abraham descendants. Oh, good point. Yeah, the Muslims living there would be Abraham's descendants because Ishmael is a descendant of Abraham. Good point. I never thought of that, Burger Kings. Right? Abraham's descendants, they claim it only descends, the birthright of the promised land only descends through Jacob, though. Only the chosen preferred sons receive the inheritance and the birthright. So, but he's still, the good point. Ishmael, if Arabs are Ishmael, they are descendants of Abraham. So they already have all of that land. Good point, Burger Kings.
For Syria, they're not trying to take over Iraq or anywhere else. But they do want to protect their people No, they're not trying to take over Lebanon.
But you're saying that as a religious man, as a Christian Zionist, you agree with a lot of religious communities here in Israel that the justification for this country is theological. It's a contract between God and his people. And I'm telling you that that contract includes a tract of land that is much larger than the current nation state.
So you may be a bigger Zionist than even the Jews are that live in Israel.
I'm trying to understand the implications of your theology for geopolitics, because you're saying that the present government of Israel has a moral right to take over what are now other people's countries.
No, I didn't say that.
Then what are you saying?
I'm simply saying that the people who live in Israel,
you are saying that. Don't lie.
Have a right to have security, have safety. They have a right to be able to live in this land that they have a connection to for 30.
I told myself when I said a prayer that I would not get annoyed, but as someone who is, the father of daughters, child molesters hiding in Israel and escaping American justice, I think I have a right to safety in my country too. So you can understand that I think most people feel they have a right to safety. I do think Israel has a right to safety, and I hope that for them, and I'm sincere, but I'm an American, and I have a right to safety in my country too.
Of course you do.
Agree? And I think, but I just want to get to this point. If Israel were to say, God gave us in Genesis 15, all of Lebanon, all of Syria, all the way up to Iraq, would that be legitimate in your view?
I don't think in this particular day and time, they're asking for it.
Would it be legitimate?
I'm not sure that it would be.
Why? Because you just said that.
Well,
yeah, this is good. He's getting him caught up in how ridiculous this is. This is actually good.
I think that there is a
He said not at this time, too. Well, no, they don't. I mean, yeah, God gave it to the Jews, and one day they're going to have their big Jew empire in the third temple and the Moshiach, but that's not right now, though. But eventually.
An understanding that the people of Israel today, now, if they end up getting attacked by all these places and they win that war and they take that land, then okay, that's a whole nother discussion. But you and I started out. We started talking about something simple: Christian Zionism.
But it turns out it's
and
not
now
simple because I don't. The core of Christian Zionism, you said, and I'm quoting you, is the understanding, the belief, the theological understanding that Jews have a moral and legal. We went through the legal,
biblical.
Moral deriving from the biblical, from the promises in our Bible, which we share with the Jewish people, the first part of it, the Old Testament.
It's moral because my Bible said so.
It derives from God's promise to the Jews. And so I have two questions. What are the borders of that? And who are those people in 2026?
Well, Tucker, if you believe the Bible like you do, you know what the borders say. You already said it. So why are you asking? Why are you going to talk? If you're saying that God really did say that and really did promise land, how are you going to try to bring it up to Huckabee like it's a bad thing when you agree? We could bring it up to Huckabee. I don't see how you can when you're agreeing that the book is real.
You're not the first person I've asked, but you're the most reasonable, most gentle, most theologically informed person, so I'm really hoping for an answer. Yeah. The first question was the borders. I can't get an answer. Yeah. Those borders are. So I'm going to give up. But the second question is every bit as pressing, which is who are the people? Who are the modern, who are the descendants? So we know, and I believe, and I agree with you as a Christian, that God promised this land from modern day Iraq to modern day Egypt to this people, the Jews, to Abram's, actually not to Abram's descendants, as it says in Genesis 15. Who are his descendants now, and how do we know who they are?
I think they're the Jews, and we know who they are because they've always been a Jewish people. There has been an unbroken line of Jewish people, and they've lived in this land for 3,800 years. Sometimes not very many of them.
We heard this clip. We've heard this clip already. Fighting wars. Fighting wars on behalf of Israel's behalf.
I wish we never had war. Why do we have war?
We're about to have one with Iran, it looks like. How many Americans do you think will die in that war?
I hope none. None died last year when we participated in the 12-day war. Not one. You said 20,000 would die, and they didn't.
I said could, and they could have. And they could die now, and that's a real risk.
How many boots on the ground do you think the U.S. is supplied for Israel over the course of its life? How many times have we put soldiers on the ground for Israel?
Well, we had the Iraq War, which was for Israel.
No,
I
it
think
wasn't
it's
for Israel.
How was it for us?
Well, because it was a retribution against 9/11. Now, was it the best idea?
Was
They didn't
Iraq
do
involved
9/11.
in 9/11?
Our government thought so.
Why are 9/11 documents still classified?
I have no idea.
Should they be unclassified?
I think so.
All of them, right?
I have no problem with that.
Me too.
I like transparency. I like sunlight.
I do. Too. I hope you'll call for that.
I like free press. I like free speech.
I totally agree.
I hope you'll call for
but
that.
if there was no connect, I've never seen, I'm open to anything, but I've never seen any connection between the government of Saddam Hussein, the secular Ba'athist government of Saddam Hussein, and the terror attacks of 9/11.
They lied about it.
There were.
Cheney lied about it.
So I'm not sure, but I don't know.
I think also it was like bad Israeli intel about weapons of mass destruction, and some meeting that they supposedly had with the terrorists had with Iraq.
Why was that Israel's fault?
Well, Benjamin Netanyahu, now prime minister, of course, exerted lots of pressure openly on the U.S. government to regime change the Saddam government. I was there. It was in Washington.
You were for it?
And they complied. I don't think there's any way to read it.
Do you think Israel leads the U.S. and pushes them and tells them what to do?
Well, not on everything, of course.
Do you think? I
think
they pushed us. Netanyahu went to Congress and pushed for regime change of Saddam, and said they had weapons of mass destruction. So yes.
Let me be specific.
Okay.
It was a bunch of Zionist neocons that are all love Israel that were pushing for the Iraq war. Yes.
I think the Israeli government strongly pushed the United States to take out Saddam Hussein. There's no question about that. I think the Israeli government
AIPAC pushed for Iraq war too.
Who's been in the White House 7 times in 1 year, pushing for regime change in Iran. I think they're on the verge of convincing this administration to affect regime change.
You think the president is weak and is being pushed?
I'm not saying that. I know. Well, I know the president's being pushed. Why do you think a foreign leader was in the White House 7 times in 1 year? Are you okay with that? That's a lot.
Israel is not just a.
Hey, how about Adelson? Bring up Adelson giving him hundreds of millions, and how pro-Israel she is. Why not that?
Friend or an ally, it is a real partner. We have an incredible relationship with Israel in intelligence and in military, in culture, in values. To be shocked that the Israeli prime minister would have that many meetings, it's a lot. But I want to ask you the question. Do you think President Trump is weak enough to let Bibi Netanyahu push him into something that he doesn't want to do?
I don't. Look, I think, and I don't know, of course, the answer to every question, including this one, but I think the President Trump really doesn't like nuclear proliferation, and I don't think he wants Iran to have a bomb. I think he really sincerely means that.
I hope you don't.
Oh my God, look at this retarded shit. 37,000 likes for Baal. The top of the pyramid is Baal, but above him is Yahweh. Dude, the Baal misdirection. Crazy. Imagine thinking that Rothschilds are above Zionism. Like, Zionism is just Judaism. Judaism is so much bigger than the Rothschilds. Saying that Rothschilds have more influence than all of Judaism throughout history is just so ridiculous. Baal at the top.
I don't want them to have a bomb.
This is based on literally no evidence. Literally fake Baal bank accounts inspired that meme.
Them to have a bomb? I don't want anyone to have a bomb, including Israel. I don't know why we're okay with Israel having nuclear weapons. I'm not. I'm not okay with Pakistan having them. I'm not okay with Saudi having them. Israel's nuclear weapons were created, of course, with nuclear material stolen from the United States.
Nice. There's another. Tucker lands a punch. Tucker lands the stolen nuke punch. Except you're an idiot that thinks that demons created nukes also. God gave Jews the bomb. That's true, yeah. They have a right. They don't have a right? Israeli nukes don't have a right to exist?
The thing is, I know you know, I'm opposed to all of it. I don't like nuclear weapons. It's mass murder as far as I'm concerned. So no, I don't want Iran to have a bomb, obviously. The question is, what are the potential costs? And you have to factor that into any decision. And
what are the costs if they were to get a nuclear bomb? They've said for 47 years, death to America.
Well, I don't think
they target us.
I don't think
they've targeted President Trump specifically.
Yeah, I mean,
they've hired a person to assassinate him.
Iran, BBC, and Hamas not defending him.
Good.
We're
in agreement on that.
Our country is not thriving, and we're spending tens and tens and tens of billions of dollars over time defending Israel and helping it prosecute all.
You know where that money goes?
It goes to a lot of places.
Oh, but let's talk about that a minute. $3.8 billion a year. That money goes right back to the U.S. to purchase weapon systems. For example,
dude, bringing up the 3.8 billion in aid, they've got their scripts to respond to this already. We need better talking points than Khazars and 3.8 billion.
Every round of ammo that the IDF shoots is manufactured just outside where I live in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Wow.
The component.
Every little Palestinian hit that explodes with a bullet was made in America, right outside of Arkansas. That's what I just heard.
A lot of them for the Iron Dome and the Arrow 3 missile defense systems are manufactured near Camden, Arkansas.
Which needs it, by the way. Camden's economically depressed.
You know the area.
I do.
And there are thousands and thousands of American jobs, and there are billions and billions of dollars of expenditures that Israel makes in the U.S. and buys the things that we.
I know how defense contracting works. I'm from Washington. Okay. No, I know this. I guess what I'm saying is America's not thriving at all. And
so you just got owned. Another argument falls flat. Didn't land. Tucker throws a punch and doesn't land. He bobs. He weaves. He blocks it. He counter punches. That's what I just saw right there. Owned.
I don't think it's Israel.
Okay, well, good.
No, I don't.
I think.
I just think that what we're doing isn't working at all, and America's not rich.
I think the president is doing some amazing things to get us back on track.
Not attacking Trump.
Okay.
I'm merely saying that over, say, the last 20 years, America's not gotten richer or freer at all. And I come to Israel and the infrastructure, we were flying in, and I said to my buddy, I was like, man, first of all, looks great. I love the agriculture in Israel because it's beautiful. I love green. I love plants.
I remember when it didn't look like that.
Yeah.
First time I came in 53 years ago.
It's great.
It did not look like that.
Great. Looks a lot nicer than our country. And it has higher standard of living. It has nicer roads than the United States. And so it's like, okay, why are we sending all this money to a country that has a higher standard of living than ours?
I don't know that they have a higher standard of living.
They do, actually. They have free health care. They also have free abortion. Are you okay with that?
I personally don't like that.
Why would we be subsidizing? Why would we send any money?
Not.
Why would we send any money to a country that provides free abortion?
Because the money that we send does not pay for health care. It does not pay for abortion. It pays for military things.
It's like if they don't spend it on this, they'll spend it on that.
But they do spend it on that, and then we get many more times back on the return on the investment.
Why don't we say we're not sending you any more money as long as you have free abortion?
Well, that would be a policy decision.
Would you be for that?
I would be okay with it because I hate abortion. I think it's horrible.
How much do you hate it?
I hate it a lot.
Why are we sending them money if they're paying for free abortion?
Because they're not paying for abortions with the...
We're not going to fund you anymore, Israel, unless you have more children. If you abort any Jews, you're not getting another dime, Israel. What are we doing here?
Money. And because we, in turn, get billions of dollars. The return on investment is estimated somewhere between 400 and 1,200%.
I've heard these numbers. I just live there, and I know, and I'm, by the way, I'm for
you don't pay another dollar in taxes until abortion is illegal in America.
The defense industry is totally corrupt and seedy, as you know. However, I like to see American companies thrive. Like, it's complicated. I'm not an extremist or an absolutist on really anything other than abortion. However, net, as we say, our country's not really thriving. And we're also totally broke.
Why is that the case? Is it because we've done a lousy job controlling our borders, a lousy job of controlling our economy? It's a lot of things.
Yeah.
But we own that. I think President Trump is doing remarkable things to turn it around. I cannot imagine any president.
Trump.
I know. But if you're saying the country is in trouble, let's
say we're out of money. Actually,
let's
is
give
what I'm
credit to what the president is doing to get us out of debt, because I think that what he's doing economically.
All right.
Supporting Hamas, and I'm not.
Okay, hold on. How much more are we gonna do here? 5 more minutes. Journalists killed in Gaza. Israel's sabotaging of negotiations with Iran. Persecution of Christians. Let's do this one.
Or they fight.
How many journalists has Israel killed in Gaza?
I don't know.
Over 200. It seems like
now, are they real journalists? Because a lot of those people that were supposedly journalists were actually Hamas fighters.
No real journalists.
Hamas fighters.
No true journalists. Fallacy.
How many are actual journalists?
You know, I don't know, but a lot of them were. I mean, they worked for big news organizations and they had press written on their chests.
Actually filming dead Palestinian kids to put on the internet makes you a terrorist, so you're not a journalist. Sorry. Justified. No right to exist. No right to journalism.
Had UNRWA cars, and they were also working for Hamas.
So are you concerned? So do you think that over 200 journalists killed in Gaza are all fake journalists who deserve to be killed?
I have no idea how many the total number is. I don't have their credentials, but I know that there were quite a few that were actually Hamas fighters that protected Hamas. Ask the hostages. The hostages came back and they started telling about the number of people that were doctors in hospitals.
Yeah, I thought all Palestinians were Hamas. That was the line.
That held them hostage in their homes, or the number of people who were pretending to be journalists who were actually holding them hostage.
As someone
I'm just telling you that there's a lot more to what.
As someone who's texted,
so I guess Hamas is fine to go and target any journalist in Israel that they want because they're defending Israel in the IDF. So they're every Israeli is an IDF soldier. They actually have mandatory service too. But same logic. God said Hamas bad. You're right. We forgot about that.
Helped pay for killing all those civilians in Gaza. I feel like I have a right to know how many were killed, and Israel won't let outside observers in to figure it out. And I'm frustrated. I just want to say that. My last question is about Christians, both Christians who visit and Christians who live here, particularly in the West Bank. I spoke to someone recently, a Christian minister who grew up in a town right outside Bethlehem. We would know it as Shepherd's Field in the New Testament, where the shepherds were tending their flocks in Matthew. And of course, the angels come and announce the arrival of Jesus in nearby Bethlehem. His family's been Christian, he says, for 2,000 years. He says where he grew up is now surrounded by settlements of people who are not from Israel at all. A lot of them are from the United States. Jewish settlements. They have different roads that the native Christians are not allowed to use. I don't quite know how that works. And he described a story where his mother was shot outside their house by an IDF soldier for reasons no one ever explained. She survived, but no one was ever punished for it or even explained why they did it. And he basically described being terrorized by settlers. And I wonder if that's a concern for you, for the native population, the indigenous population.
Did you say this happened in Bethlehem?
It happened in Shepherd's Field, so it's a Christian village. Bet Sahur, I think, is its name. Right outside Bethlehem.
If it's in Bethlehem,
it's not in Bethlehem. I think it's Bet Sahur. I believe is the name of the village.
Because there are no Israelis in Bethlehem, none. There are no Jews in Bethlehem.
Are there new settlements outside Bethlehem, where he is from?
Over in Area C, but not in Area A. There are none.
Well, he describes the town he grew up in.
No Jews in Bethlehem. When I went to Bethlehem to the Church of Nativity, where Jesus was supposedly born, that's ran by Orthodox Christians, and I said my tour guide knew the priest at the church, and he let us cut a line to look at the spot wherever all the Christian tourists were waiting to touch the spot where Jesus was born, and all these lying e-crusaders claim Adam had a Mossad hookup. Not even any Jews in Bethlehem. They're such liars. Bethlehem is crawling with Jews, really? It was like right on the other side of like the famous graffitied wall. It's Palestinian West Bank territory.
Yeah. And I guess
if there's any Jews, it's probably very few.
A Christian whose family's been there for 2,000 years.
There are Palestinian Christians.
No, not that wall. The border wall.
Throughout
the graffiti. Burger King's. Only one donating is Burger King's. Thank you, buddy.
Rumble. That's a crazy but typical boomer take, kicking can down the road and over future generations. Moshiach and Jewish eschatology has to come before year 2240. Huckabee wants Moshiach now, though.
In due time, they'll be justified. It's their right to have all of the promised land. He basically got him to say that.
But why is
Judea and Samaria? That's true. I've been over to visit them. I go
know
there
you
regularly.
have. I know you have, and some have been.
We've advocated for some that are Muslim, but they're American citizens, and we advocated because there was.
But why can't they just drive into Jerusalem to go to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre? Why do they need a permit to do that if they're from there?
Because of the acts of terrorism that has made it impossible to do it.
But
you know how many
but
suicides?
hold on.
No.
But
Let
they're
me.
Christians. They don't
You
commit
asked this
suicide.
question. So what do we do? Just say you're a Christian? Oh yeah, I'm a Christian, but you're wearing a suicide bomb?
Do Christians do suicide bombs?
They could. They could. If all they have to do is just announce I'm a Christian. There were over 1,000.
Why not just get an identity card that says I'm Christian?
Let me just finish this.
What?
Before Israel put the green line up,
Tiffinal.
before they
Rumble.
took
Adam, I refuse to allow Burger King to be the only one donating.
Well, you're the Burger Queen now, Tiffinal. Thank you. And I'm hungry. Burger King. I haven't eaten Burger King in so long. But
great care to put checkpoints.
a burger does sound good.
There were over 1,000 suicide bombers in 1 year.
It was awful.
In 1 year.
I remember it, but I don't think any of them were Christians, and
they may not have been.
Okay, but
my point is,
we could find out if they were. And
so you're saying we just trust somebody if they come up and say I'm a Christian, I just want to go to the Holy Sepulchre, let me in?
What I'm saying is that Christians have a right to go to the Holy Sepulchre. Israel does not own it. They've had possession of it since 1967. It doesn't belong to Bibi. It belongs to me and you and every other Christian.
Bibi was probably a young person.
It's mine.
No Christian should ever be barred from the Church of the Holy Sepulchre.
Should Christians be barred from Joseph's tomb in Nablus?
I don't know. Let's just start with the Church of the Holy Sepulchre.
Okay, let's
in
start with the Church of the Holy Sepulchre.
And I don't understand on what grounds
People
they
can go
are
to the-
barred. Well, they can't if they're Christians at Bet Sahur. So I don't understand why they're a threat.
Kang sent $5 on Rumble. Is there a way you can do a book giveaway to a random viewer? If so, I will meet the goal.
I don't know how I would choose the random viewer, but that's a good idea. Maybe I could do book giveaways somehow. I'd have to think about that. I'm trying to look up. It looks like we might have already hit the goal. It's just not updated.
They're not
I'm
a
going to
threat.
work on that. I just got logged out of my Powerchat. I got to do my verification
And
code.
why won't you, as the Christian minister, U.S. ambassador to the state of Israel, say to the prime minister, you can't allow this? Your country exists in part because American Christians support you, so you have to treat us well.
Part of the problem, Tucker, is that in the Palestinian Authority,
$5 on Rumble. I prefer normal snack bars. Here's something for Belgian fries.
Belgian fries. Fries sound good too. Burger and fries? Is that what's for lunch?
and that's
Burger
what we're
and
talking
fries.
about. There are Christians. Look, I know some Christians who live in Bethlehem, and that is Area A. Bethlehem was 80+% Christian before Oslo. 80% Christian, less than 20% Muslim. Today it's flipped. It's now 80+% Muslim. It's very few Christian. And some of the Christians that I personally know and know well are Zionist. Let that surprise you. They're
That's great.
Zionists. They're
And-
hardcore
and
Zionists.
some are
Let me finish
really
my train of thought here.
anti-Zionist. Okay.
So in the Palestinian
So we're at 282. It says it's stuck at 252, but we're actually at 282. I don't know why it's not updating what the deal is.
Authority, they still teach children from the time they're 5 years old that the greatest thing in the world is to kill Jews. And that if they end up being a martyr, and if they kill Jews, they will get a pension for life if they die. And if they don't, they'll get a paycheck for life, and their families will. And it's called the Prisoners and Martyrs Fund. We call it Pay for Slay in the U.S. It is against our
a
law.
lot of Christians collecting on that?
I don't know.
Zero.
I
So
don't
my
know.
question remains, and I'm a little bit frustrated at this point, because I'm not defending Hamas. I hate suicide bombing. I hate suicide. I hate violence.
I hate bad things.
Period.
Jutsu sent
Why?
$2.
So brave. Oh, dude.
What this Jewish theology has done to our people. The entire debate is based on this fake.
Yeah, all on a fake foundation. The whole thing. I love how Tucker's like, I'm against war and I'm against babies. And like, it's, oh, wow. Do you want a fucking pat on the back? Brave take. The virtuous one.
Can't a Christian who was born there, whose family's been there for 2,000 years, following Jesus for 2,000 years, drive, because it's really close, to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre? He poses no threat. And why can't the United States government advocate for him to do that?
We do advocate for Americans because that's our job. And it doesn't matter whether they're Palestinian or Israeli. We do that. But as far as when they...
I went to the Holy
many
Sepulchre
Americans are
Church.
being held
It's
in
in the Muslim or maybe Christian quarter of Old Jerusalem.
Prisons right now.
Total, I don't have a exact number on that. I don't know.
Tucker hates things that are bad because he's a good person.
We go visit. Our consular goes there almost every week and visits the Americans. It's not a large number as far as Americans, but when we have them, we go to their trials when they're on trial. So we
can't handle any more of this. This is awful.
Oh, I'm giving you credit. No, you
okay,
understand.
please.
I'm giving
Thank you for
credit
doing that because we don't get much.
No,
we don't get much.
By the way, not every embassy does that. I happen to know for a fact they don't advocate for Americans in jail. And
all right, that's all we got for today. I can't handle anymore. I got to go to the bathroom and get something to eat. Appreciate you guys. Let's see. We're going to be back. What was I saying? We're going to watch that dude's new Orthodox video and go through this one. Probably tonight. We'll see if we do a surprise late night stream going over Dinesh D'Souza with Roger Stone and some other stuff. We got to get caught up. So much is happening that I want to talk about. Appreciate you guys for all the support. Love you all. Get a book. Oh, there's the goal.
Amanita Jones sent $10 on Rumble.
Amanita.
Keep up the great work, Adam.
Amanita. Like the mushroom? All right, you guys are awesome. Huge shout out for the support. Leave a comment.
Nice.
Clip it.
Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, baby.
Share the link. Clip it. Buy a book. Sign up for Subscribe Star. You guys know what to do. You guys are amazing. I love you all. And I will see you tonight or for sure tomorrow.